Welcome to Apex Racing TV. Alex Simpson, Adam Bath. For this, the British Sim Racers Canadian Grand Prix. Adam, Montreal. It's Grand Prix, but not as we know it. DW12s around Montreal. We've done this once before in Interlagos. It was a great turnout for that event. Only 16 drivers turned up for this one, unfortunately. So, bit of a shame.
Yeah, well, the qualifying in real life is just coming to an end now. Lewis Hamilton heads out at the moment. Qualifying here is just getting underway. I do believe it is just a 10-minute session, and then we'll be getting the 70 or so lap race underway. The Dallara DW12s, we saw how much of a handful they were at Interlagos. Only 2 cars finishing on the lead lap the last time we did this back in November, and I think we could see the same happening here tonight.
Yeah, looking at the track at the minute, we all know Montreal very well indeed. I've done my fair share of laps around here today, so just coming out of the World Championship race here, so it's a pretty grueling circuit. 70 laps, I'll tell you, that's going to take it out of the drivers. My knee was bloody playing me up at the end. I don't care about saying it. Fortunately, we're on Apex Racing TV and not BSR, so we don't have to worry about that sort of stuff too much. But yeah, so the drivers are going to struggle, I think. Perhaps fatigue a little bit at the end. This DW12 bangs around the curbs a lot, so not going to be easy to set it up for this race. But 32 degrees track temperature, so it's quite hot as well. Not too much wind speed, just the default weather, but it is mostly cloudy, so should be fairly reasonable, I would think.
Well, let's have a look at the practice times before the qualifying session got underway. Not everyone was available for the practice session. Ashley Blake Hood for Red Bull Racing, he was fastest, with Ferrari's Daniel Hunt second, with Pete Newman in third and Ella Stevens in fourth. Pete Newman driving for McLaren Honda, and Ella Stevens driving for Williams. The last time we were racing back in November at Brazil, it was Jamie Rushworth that won for Williams, so Williams hoping to take a second victory, with Steve Richardson then in fifth. He's driving for Lotus. I think he's a sole car driving for Lotus tonight. Sixth was Simon Maltby. Seventh, Vladimir Marchevsky driving for Sauber. Eighth, Paul Smith driving for Manor. Ninth was Tyler Hervius. He's not on my entry list. And then in 10th was Michael Jones. Qualifying session just underway at the moment. Jake Cameron, the first car to set a lap time, 1:35.1. What lap times can we sort of be expecting, Alex, around about that time?
Yeah, I think they were slightly quicker than that, weren't they, in practice? So yeah, I expect to see some more times. 1:33s, 1:34s recently in practice, I think.
A little bit quicker than that, 1:20, 1:22,
Oh, I'm way off there.
Yes, so Jake Cameron just doing a bit of an outlap there. Ashley Blake Hood, he's on an outlap, he's just pulled out of it. So yeah, I don't know who we could really, the form bookers, I don't know who's going to be on pole position in this one, Alex. It'll be interesting to see, as the qualifying session in the Formula One's just finished. If you don't want to know, cover your ears now, because I can just see Lewis Hamilton getting out of his Mercedes looking reasonably happy. I think that's another pole position for the Brit after that nightmare of a result at Monaco. Despite finishing third, it looks like he will be on pole position for tomorrow's Canadian Grand Prix. Pete Newman's just gone to the top, Alex.
Yeah, Pete looked pretty quick in the practice session actually earlier on. It would make sense that these guys are doing about 1:24s. They're not that much slower than ones around here. We were doing 1:13s, 1:14s earlier on. So yeah, 1:20, 1:24, pretty decent, I would say, for a Dallara around here. So Pete Newman, obviously we normally see him in a Kia Optima on Thursday night, so out of his comfort zone a little bit, but looking pretty tasty.
Daniel Hunt just coming out of the final corner now in his Ferrari, I do believe, even though that might have a McLaren livery. Comes across the line.
Is McLaren?
Yeah, 1:23.1 and goes to the top of the pile. So Daniel Hunt, it says Ferrari on my entry list. He's now driving for McLaren, it looks like. So he's a new pole man. Paul Smith driving for Manor. He's second at the moment, with Pete Newman in third, as Daniel Hunt spins the car
yeah,
around.
Big time. It's going to be tricky around there because, I mean, it's very, very bouncy, the DW12, and through that chicane section there, it's just so treacherous. I'll be honest, with this setup around here, I'd spend 100% focus on just trying to get the car to be a little bit more pliable over the curbs and not worry about raw speed, because at the end of the race, I don't think there's going to be very many people finish this, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and just going back to Interlagos, we saw so many cars spinning out there, and with the tight confines of this circuit, Gilles Villeneuve's circuit, it could happen. Exactly the same could happen as Laura Bond just comes across the line, sets a 125.6. She goes up into 8th position. We've got 4.5
Actually, Blake
minutes.
Hood just takes pole position. So good
result,
just. Good lap from Blake Hood in the Infinity Red Bull there.
400ths of a second quicker than Pete Newman in second, with Daniel Hunt third, Paul Smith fourth, Vladimir Marchevsky for Sauber in fifth, Ellis Stevens sixth, Simon Maltby in seventh, Steve Richardson eighth, Laura Bond in ninth, and Tyler Hervius rounds out the top 10. Maltby just on a lap now in the Lotus, just coming down to the hairpin, very hard on the brakes here, the slowest part really of the racetrack, and now heading down this super long back straight towards the chicane with the Wall of Champions. Alex, would you rather set the car up for speed down this part of the racetrack, or because of the tight confines the rest of the lap, you really got to set it up for that?
Well, it's an interesting conundrum actually. I mean, obviously I've just done the World Championship race here, and everybody else set their car up for the pure straight line speed. Apart from myself, I went for a much more balanced car, stable through the infield section. So it is quicker to go for the straight line speed, I have to say. I was slightly slower, but it's safe. That's the thing. It's whether or not you want yourself to be struggling through that infield section to try and get the speed out of the car through there. So I'm sure we'll see a variety of different sets here. So those that will go for the straight line speed wants to be able to get past people, and those that just pile the downforce on a little bit and make it a lot more easier to drive through these chicanes.
Lewis Hamilton's lap time, just for the record, was 1 minute 14, so nearly 10 seconds slower in these DW12s. They are a bit harder to drive though than the Williams, well, than the Formula 1 cars that we see today, Alex. A lot harder to handle.
Yeah, I think they probably are a little bit. Naturally don't have quite as much understeer, a little bit heavier, so they're a bit slower coming out of these sort of hairpin sections. So they're certainly not harder to drive than the iRacing Formula 1 car, that's for sure though.
Yeah, as looking here at Daniel Hunt, he's just coming out of the hairpin now, heading down the straight, nearly puts a wheel or two into the grass there. Just final few moments of this a single 10-minute qualifying session. He's currently sitting third in the standings at the moment, just 0.2 of a second away from second place Pete Newman. I don't think he had the best entry in towards the final chicane. He's going to come across the line now. I don't think he's going to improve on his time. Does a lap time 123.779, 0.6 of a second slower than his personal best. He'll remain in third place for now. However, it's good to see the McLaren Hondas up at the front of the pack, Alex, compared to their real-life counterparts.
Yeah, no comment on that. A huge McLaren fan, still a little bit gutted to see them way down there. They really need to get hold of Honda and wring their neck, because they're struggling at the minute, and it's not good for either manufacturer or engine producer there, because it just look like it's child's play. I mean, they have come on a long way, but back to the golden screen, not the real one.
Paul Smith driving for Manor. He's not going to improve on his time, I don't think, and I think he knows that. Just comes across line 125.503. He remains in his fourth place for now. Who's next to come across the line? Laura Bond. I don't think she could improve on her time of 125.613. Currently sitting ninth in the standings. Comes across the line and does 125.669. So just a few hundredths of a second slower than her personal best. Pete Newman coming across the line 126.5. So just half a second slower than his personal best. Martin van Loozenord, he's slower than his personal best, but Vladimir Marchevsky, Alex, I think he could be on a new personal best. He's going across the track a bit, but he's coming towards the line now.
Yeah, in the Sauber there, so let's just have a look. Looked a bit tentative, looked a bit careful through that final chicane. It's very tricky there, I have to say. The current tyre model, the way the tyre burns out in the braking zone is really Sets you back. He does go a little bit quicker, 124.339 up into 7th place behind Simon Maltbury.
Paul Smith on another lap then in his manner as he heads down the straight towards the final chicane. I don't know whether that's right, but the stewards have just said that the qualifying session will be on for another 10 minutes, so 10 minutes more for these guys to set another quick lap as Smith goes through the final chicane now towards the finishing line. 123.8 is his personal best, comes across the line 124.1, so 3 tenths of a second slower than his best. He remains in 4th place. Pete Fickett comes across the line, he doesn't improve on his time, he stays in 11th. Laura Bond's coming across the line 125.2, that is a new personal best, and she moves up into 8th place on the timesheets. Good luck from her.
Yeah, Laura done a fair bit of driving in this Dallara DW12, effectively the Indy car we're using for this Grand Prix. I'm just trying to think. Laura did quite a few races in the Rose Series at the start of this year, so she knows her way around the car and how it handles. We certainly didn't go to Montreal. Would have been a great circuit to have gone to in that series, but mainly the American tracks we were at. But yeah, Laura doing a good job out there in the Williams.
DW12.
As she overshoots and validates that lap. I think that was Ashley Blake Hood. No, it wasn't Ashley Blake Hood. It was the other.
Jake Cameron.
Yeah, Jake Cameron. So we haven't seen Jake for a little while in any of our series. Good to see him out there. Struggling a little bit though, all the way down in 13th place at the moment.
Yeah, he didn't have the best of exits out of that hairpin, and I think that's going to compromise his lap. He's currently sitting 13th, the last of the cars to set a lap time. 4 cars haven't set a time yet in this qualifying session. Jacob, are you going to have to help me pronounce that one? I think Sean Rafferty sets a lap time 141.2 as Cameron goes through the final corner now, not going to improve on his personal best. The curbs here at the circuit, Gilles, Alex, can the DW12 cars really attack them, or is that where they're going to be caught out?
Yeah, you can get this car set up to handle the curbs pretty well. Personally, I haven't drove Montreal in it, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, you can dial it in. That's all I'll say. So car setups down reasonably quickly. It doesn't like great deal of curbs. I've seen it pogo a lot around here in seasons past, but I think it's not too bad now. But like I say, you just have to spend the time to figure it out. I mean, I have to say I've drove the car for near enough 2 seasons now, and it wasn't until basically the penultimate race of this season that I found a suspension configuration that actually was just epic over the curbs, and just settled itself back down at Road Atlanta and Mid-Ohio. I could tackle the curbs and just not worry about it. So, but yeah, that's how long it can take to find it. It was a very, very small window to get the car not to bounce around, and I think it's something that Eric and the other developers know that they've got an issue with, and they're trying to get it sorted. But yeah, it's a quick setup that doesn't do that is few and far between, I can tell you.
New person at the top of the timing sheets, and that's Martin van Loozenor driving for Scuderia Toro Rosso. Ashley Blake Hood in 2nd place driving for the Red Bull outfit. I'm sure he'll be eager to get back to the top of the timing sheets. He's just on an hour lap at the moment, and in a few moments time he'll be starting his quick lap to see if he can get that pole position back. At 4 tenths of a second, Loozenor has taken the pole position by, so Blake is really going to have to pull a fast one on his next lap. Let's see if we can go for a lap then with the Infiniti Red Bull driver. He's just heading through the final chicane there with the World Champions just on the right, and now he's going to cross the line now to start a lap.
Yeah, as we just come down into turn 1, down through the gearbox. Just you don't want to take too much curb there, as that gets him a little unsettled. Tricky to hug that inside right, but Ashley's done a good job of it there. But I think that first line might have compromised him a little bit into the first of the chicanes. Just misses the apex a little bit there on the inside, but catches it perfectly on the second half. Up through the gearbox here before heavy braking down into this second gear left-hander. Switch the car right. Car can sometimes get a little bit unsettled. Going for somebody loose, and he's had to move a little bit of grass there. That might well invalidate his lap. But he will come into the second of the chicanes. Heavy braking. It's probably 3rd gear in this particular one though. Looked fairly safe through there, I have to say, from Ashley. I don't think this lap is going to be any much of an improvement as we break down in towards the hairpin. First gear, slowest corner on the circuit and many other circuits as well. Accelerates hard, no issues with the car. Twitching as he comes out of there, long straightaway section. Just see what sort of speed he's doing down here, 290 kilometers an hour before he brakes heavily into the chicane. Gets that just about right, just skims the wall. That will invalidate the lap.
That's why he does a 122.1, and that's just 2/7 of a second slower than his personal best. Ashley Blake Hood, though, steering very clear of those curbs during the lap, especially those big ones, as you can see on the inside of turn 2, and he had to get out, he had to move just onto the grass down that little straight halfway around the lap to avoid that crash. So quite an eventful lap for Ashley Blake Hood. He seems to be still on it, going through the long right-hander and into this second sector of the lap, and he knows that it's now real, and there you go, that's him putting, that's what happens when you put too many wheels onto the curbs, Alex.
Yep, indeed. Just a few minutes left of qualifying at the moment. Who's out there? Pete Newman trying to improve at the moment as well. Let's just have a look, see how Pete's doing as he's coming down and into the hairpin.
Currently in 4th place. And gets an okay exit, but I don't think that's the best exit he's had all day as he heads down the long back straight. Just over 3.5 minutes left in this qualifying session, and 5 minutes, yeah, just under 5 minutes to go. And Pete Newman, can he get McLaren Honda either into the top 3 or onto the front row of the grid? Through the final chicane, over those curbs, he takes quite a lot on the inside, and now to the final line, finish line. P Newman for McLaren Honda, 122.667. That's an improvement on his time, but it's not an improvement in position. So he's slowly working his way up through the pack. Alex, he's got enough time to do one more run. He could get inside the top 3.
Yeah, definitely possible, but I think, yeah, like you say, he needs to get back to the pits and get out again if he's going to have another shot as he pulls over and does just that. In fact, Paul Smith, see if Paul Smith improves as he comes across the line. No, that was an invalid lap, so perhaps just an out lap. Let's keep with him and just see how he does. He's got to find just a 1/10.5 will get him up and in front of Ellis and into the top 5, so it's doable.
Of course, Daniel Hunt driving for McLaren as well, so remember it's an all McLaren second row of the grid. Williams in 5th, and then Paul Smith driving for Manu Marussia in 6th position as he heads towards the left-hander where Blake Hood invalidated his lap, and he takes okay, just a little bit cautious over these curbs. He doesn't want to spin out, and now he heads down this backstretch towards the second of the chicanes, the right-left section down towards the hairpin. Avoids that curve on the inside, takes a lot of it on the outside, just runs a bit too deep into that chicane, and now he's heading down towards the hairpin. Hard on the brakes into that corner, and then it's all about getting the best possible speed on the exit so you can go down this straight, and takes a very wide line, and I think that might not that means he won't improve on his personal best, but we'll see as he heads down the back straight now, foot flat to the floor in these DW12s.
Just having a look at his straight line speed, looks just that's about the same. So there's not much difference in the setups on offering out there. He goes through the chicane, car settles down quite nicely, I have to say. So yeah, let's have a look, see what the time is as he crosses the line. 124.8, so yeah, quite a bit slower actually.
Blake Hood on a lap time in the Red Bull into the final chicane. Is this going to be the pole lap? And he takes too much, he goes too deep into the corner, and that's really going to spoil his lap, and I think he was on a good one as well. Coming across the line, 122.8, seconds slower than his personal best, and he's going to have to go again. He's got enough time just for one more lap, so it's now or never for Ashley Blake Hood. He's heading out of the first hairpin and now down towards the right-left chicane at the beginning of the lap. What's he going to take the curbs here? Through he goes.
Yeah, looks like a pretty decent lap so far. Just through that complex that you made that mistake on a little earlier on. All good through there this time. Needs to find 0.4 of a second. Martin van Loosenlord is no slouch. I was just commentating on him in a Grand Prix Series race as well, where he finished up in second place with a no-stop strategy. Obviously pro driver in waiting, so these guys are going to have to go some to beat him.
Blake Hood gets a good line though through the hairpin. And a very good exit as well, so it could be interesting here to see who's going to get that pole position as we head down the back straight. Is it going to be Scuderia Toro Rosso, or is it going to be Infinity Red Bull Racing? Ashley Blake Hood heading down and into the final chicane. This is where he made the mistake on his last lap. Will he get it right this time? Over the curbs, just doesn't make as much mess of it as he did last time around. Here he comes across the line, 121.5 to beat. He does 122.0, does not improve on his time. He will stay in second place. Let's see if there are any other cars on a run to try and knock Martin van Loozenhoort off his pole. Well, he just goes and improves his lap time by half a second, 121.0, nearly a second quicker than the rest of the field, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely flying out there. Said he was quick, and yeah, like I say, pro driver in waiting. So I think he ended up about 4th or 5th overall in this season, as there's a Red Bull in big pile of mess behind him. But yeah, he ended up right up there as well. So I guess I will see him in the Pro Series or the World Championship in future years.
Yeah, definitely looking like that at the moment. I haven't seen a checkered flag yet, so Ashley Blake Hood seems to be on another lap. However, I'm yet to see whether this is going to count. Sending out of the hairpin, gets a bit sideways on the exit. Any other cars on the lap? Steve Richardson in the Lotus heading into the final chicane now. He's not going to improve on his lap time, I don't think. No, he won't. So let's see if Ashley Blake Hood can... let's see if this lap can actually count for Ashley Blake Hood. He's going into the pits, and at a fair rate of knots as he comes in there. He won't improve on his lap. In fact, no, that won't count because he's in the pits. But he did a 118. That's what happens if he misses out that final chicane, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. So... out for more drivers doing that at the end.
Daniel Hunt, he's on an out lap, so I don't think his lap time's going to count. Who else is? Simon Maltby, he's in 7th place. He's on at the moment on a quick lap. He's his personal best 123.877, currently sitting in 7th place, and he's only a few hundredths of a second away from Paul Smith in 6th position as he goes through the final chicane now. Quite a good line through there as well as he heads towards the finish line, but I don't think he's going to improve on his time, 126.0, so he stays in 7th place for now. Paul Smith on another lap, however, I think now the checkered flag's out, these laps won't count. So let's run you through our provisional lineup then for the Canadian Grand Prix here on Apex Racing TV. It's Martin van Loozenhoort on the pole position with Ashley Blake Hood alongside him. Scuderia Toro Rosso first, Red Bull Racing second. Daniel Hunt and Pete Newman, both in McLaren Honda. They are 3rd and 4th, with Ellis Stevens for Williams in 5th and 6th place in the Mana Marussia, Paul Smith. 7th, Simon Maltby for Lotus, with Vladimir Marchevsky in 8th for Sauber. Laura Bond is in 9th for Williams. Steve Richardson in 10th for Lotus. 11th, Jake Cameron driving for Red Bull. And then 12th is Tyler Hervius. 13th, Pete Fickett driving for Sahara Force India. 14th, Michael Jones driving in the Lotus. 15th, it is Sean Rafferty. And then 16th on back haven't set a time. And once again, the race organisers saying that the qualifying session is going to be extended by another 6 minutes or so. So this gives them even more of an opportunity to set a quick lap time. Ashley Blake Hood just coming out of the pits now. So what looked like a solid pole position for Loozenhoort, that could be under threat once again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm honest. I think that sort of time is a pretty huge margin for Blake Hood to catch up. He's not really been doing anything close to that, so I think Loozenhoort should be able to sit tight now that he's got that time in.
Well, whilst these guys are setting their lap times in the final few minutes of the session, Alex, Formula 1 2015, have you been enjoying the season so far?
Yeah, it's been a pretty exciting season. I think it's starting to heat up a little bit, for sure. I don't know. I just there's just something. I just want Ferrari to get up to the McLaren pace. I just want to see some battles. F1 pretty much always been about whoever's got the fastest car wins, and there's an inter-team battle. It's been like that for about the last 10 years, and I really want to see a couple of constructors really going at it. So It's not been like that for a long time actually, and just trying to remember when it was sort of Benetton and Williams, like way back when you were talking Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher. That's the type of racing I want to see again, where it's not about team orders and things like that. It's so I just a lot of rule changes coming out again. They just keep meddling, I think, the FIA at the moment, and it's just not really going anywhere. So yeah, I'm an F1 fan through and through, but I just want to see something a bit more at the moment.
Well, since Monaco, Ferrari have used their engine tokens, some of their engine tokens, which means that they've now got more performance out of their engine, and it seems to have worked. They were only 0.3 of a second behind the two Mercedes cars, say, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with Williams in 4th. Ferrari and Williams, those two are so closely matched at the moment. Alex, I think Ferrari slightly on top this year.
Yeah, certainly in the race pace, they seem to have them. Seb's doing a great job in there, really sort of wringing the neck out of that Ferrari, and while Kimi's doing some good work in it, he's just not been able to get the same kind of pace out of the car consistently. Seb's managed to get himself on the grid, and I think Kimi shows good pace in the race, but he always makes it that much harder for himself as Ashley Blake could lose it in the final chicane. He's just got so much more work to do as Kimi, so yeah, we'll see this week. Obviously, I don't know the grid order. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who does. Obviously, we alluded to who might be happy out there, but I'll check it in, and hopefully he'll be in a reasonable start position, and we can see Kimi do a good result.
Of course, the winner last time we were here, Daniel Ricciardo, Red Bull. Obviously don't seem to have got the engine underneath them, or power unit I should say, underneath them this season. What do you think the situation is with Renault? Do you think we could see them walking away from Red Bull at the end of this season?
I think they might do, to be honest. I really don't know. They're so far off at the moment, and that's the weak link, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah, of course, there's all those rumours at the moment surrounding Audi, as Ashley Blake had a ton of understeer going through the hairpin as he heads down the straight. Changes at the moment. Ellis Stevens has managed to leapfrog Paul Smith into 5th place. I think that's probably one of the only changes we've had so far in these extended minutes. We've now got the word we'll be going in about a few minutes, just a few minutes left of this qualifying session. What the problem is, I think, is we've got more and more drivers arriving and haven't had the time to get the race car underneath their feet. So that's why we keep extending this qualifying session, but I can assure you that the race will be getting underway at some point here tonight. Paul Smith now in 6th place, Simon Maltby still 7th though. Ashley Blake Hood still 9/10 of a second away from Martin van Loozenholt, who I think can take it easy and possibly even improve his time. He seems to be on a good one at the moment, heading through the second chicane down to the hairpin. Who's that he's got in front of him? Ellis Stevens not on a quick lap at all, so hopefully those blue flags will soon be shown and Stevens will get out of the way as we head down the back straight. And actually Loozenholt might be able to use Stevens as a bit of a tow as we head down the back straight. 70 laps, Alex, or so. What's the fuel mileage like in these Indy cars? How many pit stops could we be expecting really in this race?
Yeah, I think we'll just do a 2-stopper. I can't see there being any need for any more. As Loozenholt comes across, does he improve?
No.
I think that was just an outlap. No, 34. Yeah, so that was just an outlap for him. Yeah, I expect just a 2-stop. When they will be in, I'm not 100% sure. Probably guessing around about 24, 25. If the drivers split the race up pretty evenly. I have to say the Lotus livery does look quite nice out there. Slightly older one. But yeah, it does look quite nice.
Interesting to see we've got a few ex-IndyCar liveries. Justin Hopp in 9th place, or Justin Hope, I don't think it's probably Hopp. He's driving in the Texaco Halverline livery, it looks like, as he heads into the hairpin. He's currently in 9th place. Jay Walters, yeah, he's yet to set a time. He's just on the lap at the moment. He's driving in the GoDaddy colours, former that of James Hinchcliffe and Danica Patrick, as he makes a mistake into the right-left chicane. So quite a few interesting liveries just to watch out for in this race alongside the Formula 1 liveries. Sebastian Beaudry driving a Valvoline livery car as he heads through that second chicane on the laps. And we've got a car upside down. That's Sean Rafferty. He's currently in 16th place and he's just headed back to the pits as well. I can expect we're going to advance to the race in a few moments. Ashley Blake could, trying valiantly to try and beat Martin van Loozenor's time. In all the last time he set a personal best, if I can just look at his lap times, he did his personal best was on his 8th lap, and this is his 12th lap now. He's just heading down the straight towards the finish line. Checker flag in the air, 1:21.995, and that is not an improvement on his personal best. Only a few hundredths of a second away though, and he does a spin, possibly out of frustration. The checker flag is finally in the air after half an hour's qualifying session, and anyone that hasn't finished their lap will have to finish it now.
Yeah, so Loosenlord is going to take the pole position here then. He's one of the last few cars out there. Let's stick with him, see if he manages to actually improve it, see what sort of straight line speed he's doing down the back straight as well. Sort of 260 Ks, so yeah, this checker flag's been thrown. Session, he will just about get through. He's a lot slower in the straight line, so he's gone for a lot more downforce than the others, but that will make him a little bit vulnerable, I think, this first couple of laps until he starts to build up a bit of a gap. Take us through the grid then, Adam, now that we've got the final standings in.
Yeah, let's have a look at the grid then for the Canadian Grand Prix on iRacing here on Avex Racing TV. Martin van Loozenord at the front of the grid with Ashley Blake Hood in second place. Daniel Hunt in third for McLaren. Fourth for Pete Newman for McLaren as well. So McLaren on the second row of the grid. Could they get a victory? Fifth, it is Ellis Stevens for Williams with Paul Smith in sixth. Stevens driving for Williams, Smith driving for Marussia. Seventh, it is Simon Maltby with Vladimir Majewski in 8th, Justin Hopp in 9th with Laura Bond in 10th. 11th, it is Michael Jones. 12th, Jake Cameron. 13th, Steve Richardson. 14th, Tyler Hervius. 15th is Pete Fickett. 16th, it is Sean Rafferty. 17th, it is Thomas Woodley. 18th, Sebastian Beaudry. And then the car that didn't set a time is Jacob Bouchesney. And then it is Steve Kegera. And then 21st at the back of the grid, it is Jay Walters. The car's getting ready on the grid.
You guys not able to set a time. I don't see a pace car out there, so this is going to be quite interesting because this this Dallara DW12 is not good from a standing start. I don't know if anybody has done some testing on the starts, but they're going to have to think on their feet for this one. Waiting for a few guys just to make their way to the grid.
At Interlagos, we had 2 safety cars in the first 3 laps of the race. That shows you just the amount of difficulty we had at starting the race. Let's see if Loosenord can get it cleanly away, and can all of the 21 runners get it cleanly away as well. Here we go then, Alex. 70 laps.
Yeah, I'll let you call the start here, Adam.
Here we go then, 70 laps, and the Canadian Grand Prix here on iRacing is underway.
Yeah, looks like a good start from everyone there actually. Sorry, back to you.
And into the first corner, it was after you, it looked like there, between Loosenord and Ashley Blake Hood, and it's all cold tyres, everyone trying to work their way round. 2 McLarens going side by side, Daniel Hunt and Pete Newman, and it is Hunt through into third place, Newman in 4th, Stevens 5th, Smith 6th, Marchewski 7th, Maltby in 8th, up in 9th, cars round at the back, few cars around, the GoDaddy car involved, Sebastian Beaudry, Michael Jones, Steve Richardson, and who's that? I think that's Jake Cameron. Safety car is out, Alex.
Yeah, unfortunately I thought everybody got through, but yeah, there's quite a few drivers caught up in that, so we'll have the first safety car we kind of expected. I think it was going to be seen today. I was watching the Australian Grand Prix series on YouTube the other day as well, and much the same. They've got live officials, and that one safety car was out there. Such a tricky circuit. There was, I'm not really sure what happened in the World Championship. Definitely a lot of checking up and craziness going on. I think there were some accidents behind me, but yeah, I couldn't say for sure. Just pretty notorious is this circuit for that. We had 3 drivers not even take to the grid, unfortunately, as well. So looks like we're just 18 runners. Hopefully everybody's okay. Get their car repaired here once they get going again.
Jay Walters, the only car that's actually gone back to the pits, it looks like. So only one car that sustains pretty terminal damage. I think they get 2 spare cars in this Grand Prix series as they come across the line. 1 lap in the books, losing all leads. Blake Hood 2nd, Hunt 3rd, Newman 4th, Stevens 5th, Smith 6th. So it's really as you were. The only position changes. Marchewski into 7th, Maltby down to 8th, 9th Justin Hoppy started in 9th as well. Steve Kagura from 20th up into 12th place, so he did a good job of avoiding all of the carnage in that first chicane at the beginning of the lap. 10th for Laura Bond, 11th for Pete Fickett, 13th for Jake Cameron, 14th Steve Richardson, 15th Michael Jones, 16th Sean Rafferty, 17th Sebastian Beaudry, and 18th is Jay Walters. Is it too early in the race, Alex, for these guys to be fuel saving from the word go under these safety car laps? Or does it not really matter in this race?
I think if you save some fuel now, it's less that you've got to put it in, so it might count for jumping someone. Sean Rafferty's car is a huge mess. He knows that he'll get a repair when he gets back in there, so he's just trying to limp it around. I have to say it might have been quicker just to have towed it back. Jay Walters still waiting, hasn't been released yet though, so we'll see if he gets let out before the safety car comes around. Rafferty will make it round. He's just about to make the pit lane now. Will he catch up to the back of the pack by the time it goes green? I highly doubt it. He's going to be almost a lap behind, but at least he won't have gone a lap down.
Well, let's have a look and see what happened going into that first chicane. It was Sean Rafferty and the Lotus car behind that really started things off as we headed through the first corner. He gets past the car of Michael Jones and then just comes across in front of him, and I think gets on the brakes a bit too early for Michael Jones's liking, and then the cars behind all spinning behind in sympathy.
Just trying to back it up so we can see that on screen as well. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking at Rafferty now. Oh, he just gets hit from behind, doesn't he? Rafferty just gets smashed from behind, and that just causes mayhem because he comes back on the circuit. And then there's a Red Bull driver just ploughing in there afterwards as well. Oh yeah, it looks like the 2 cars got stuck together actually, and that's why Jay, I think, towed? No, he didn't. He carried on. So
yeah, Jay Cameron in fact had an incident away from the line. I think he just had 2 cold brakes going into the first corner, and then he had to spin the car
why,
around.
but Rafferty's has gone a lap down. He should have just gone out. He was 38 seconds in the pits. He didn't need to be 38 seconds in the pits, but he's still in there. A few drivers in there now. Very odd. He should have just got a fast car and a fast repair and gone straight out. Maybe,
yeah, I think you might have done what I've done in the past, which is changing all the tyres and adding the fuel.
Yeah, quite possibly. Although he might have just retired as well, because he can be released right now, and he's not going anywhere. So looks like race over for Sean Rafferty. He has got the car has been repaired though, so strange.
So we've got 16 cars running, 15 of them on the lead lap, as Daniel Hunt just does a bit of accelerating, then he overtook the Red Bull of Ashley Baker in front of him. Last time we were here at Interlagos in the iRacing Grand Prix Series, there was a second safety car after another incident going into the first corner. Will we see the same in the second race? I don't think we will. Hopefully these guys are a bit more behaved. Losing Ord and Blake were very well behaved going through the first corner, probably because of the cold tyres. You can see there in 3rd place Daniel Hunt weaving around, desperate to get some temperature in his tyres, and who knows, he he could be quite it looks like he's quite racy, Alex.
Yeah, unfortunately, I need to call Dan Hunt out on that because there's one thing you don't want to do in the Dallara DW12 on iRacing is heat your tyres up. They basically, I don't know what it is with this current tyre model, but the colder the tyre, the better it is. So all he's doing now is handicapping himself. So, Daniel, stop it. And he's at it again. He's not listening at all. So, yeah, the guys that actually no, it's not. It's it's Pete Newman behind him. So Pete's just following his teammate and he's just going with the flow. He's like, oh yeah, we'll make it look good, warm the tyres up. But yeah, it doesn't work one little bit, I'm afraid, gentlemen. So just hold your line and let those tyres cool. It's all the good.
Here we go then. Safety car's going to peel into the pit lane any second now. We'll be going on lap number 4 of 70. Safety car heads down pit road. There we go. And Luzenord is going to hold them back. And now he goes. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Luzenord leads them across the line. Second, Blake Hood. And they've already gapped the two McLarens. Hunt in third. Newman already trying to get past his teammate in fourth. Stevens fifth. Smith 6th, Marchewski 7th, and then 8th and 9th battle between Simon Maltby and Justin Hopp as we head out the hairpin. Everyone seems to have worked their way through without incident, and we are now heading through the first part of the lap. And what battles have we got on track? Marchewski closing in on Paul Smith, as well as the battle for 8th between Maltby and Hopp. So these guys are already pretty close. However, you don't really want to get involved in these battles in the early stages because you just want to get to that first pit stop, Alex, without having too much damage.
Yeah, that's the thing now. The guys just need to settle into their rhythms as Daniel Hunt just goes a little bit deep into the second chicane there. He's going to allow his teammate Pete Newman to have a little run at him into the chicane. Pete thinks about putting his nose in there but decides better off it. The front two scampering away, and actually Martin van Luzenord just flying. He's already got a 1.5 second lead after this first sort of hot lap.
It's going to be interesting to see how much of a benefit the slipstream here is as we head down the back straight. Newman not closing in too much on Daniel Hunt as we head into the chicane for the first time under green flag racing conditions. And as we head across the line, Luzenord 1.3 seconds ahead of Ashley Blake Hood. Hunt in third, Newman in fourth, Stevens fifth, Smith 7th, and our battle for 8th between Justin Hopp and Vladimir Marchewski. Marchewski, I think, has lost a place because Maltby's been able to get past him as well. So this is a close battle we've got on the racetrack at the moment as Hopp twitches on the exit of the hairpin. Marchewski looking down the inside of Maltby going into that right-left section, and Maltby just glitching away there for a second, but not a place where we usually see overtaking. But Marchewski, he doesn't look intent. Oh, and he hits him, and that's not what I was expecting. Usually we see that in the BSRTC, and now Hopp's trying to get past as well. Hopp trying to get past Maltby, and I think he does. They're going to be side by side as they head down here, Alex.
Yeah, not the easiest of chicanes to go side by side. If they manage to pull this off, actually, it's who was that who got slow down penalty?
Marchewski.
Yeah, Marchewski. So just went in too hot there and got that slow down, and that's a killer through there. I tell you, look at the time he's lost already. He's got Steve Carguero there behind him. Sorry, terrible pronunciation, but Steve is behind him.
And Laura Bonnet elevates her into 9th place. She's now behind Justin Hopp in Simon Maltby in 8th. So Justin Hopp now has been able to gain quite a few positions on the lap. He's now into 7th place. Battle for Ashley Blake Hood. Something's happened to him, Alex, because he's now gone down to 4th place. That means that Daniel Hunt's now in 2nd and Pete Newman is in 3rd. So just going to have a look and see what happened to our 2nd place guy in the Red Bull. And I think it is a slowdown. He heads into the chicane, has to go over the curbs, yeah, and a slowdown he gets. So that drops him 2 positions down to 4th.
See if we can catch that on screen. Exactly how he done that, yeah, because he's got quite a comfortable lead now, just coming out of the hairpin. Just trying to see what's going on here. He's just weaving a little bit down the straight, so slightly strange setup. And actually, I think we're just looking at the worst camera angle. Oh, no, we just about catch it. You're right. Just overcooks it, doesn't he? Just hops it over the curve, gets it slowed down. Both the McLaren slip through, and he's going to be putting pressure on them for the next little while, I'm sure.
and it's going to be good for us because it means he's now going to have to be finding his way back through the pack. I remember Jamie Rushworth in the Brazilian Grand Prix back in November. He made a mistake quite early on, and then the majority of the race was him battling his way back through and ended up taking the victory. Ashley Blake could a lot more cautious through the final chicane that time around, and that means that Pete Newman was able to put just half a second in front of him now as they head in onto lap 7 of the race. Any other battles unfolding on the racetrack at the moment? Let's have a look through the field. Everyone seeming to keep. So basically the battle for second really is the closest battle we've got on track at the moment, and it's between Daniel Hunt, Pete Newman and Ashley Blake Hood. Newman getting very close to Hunt as we headed through that first chicane, and now Blake Hood's right on the back of Pete Newman, and this is the closest battle we've got on track, Alex, and it's looking to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think Blake could definitely want to try and get back in to P2 as quickly as he possibly can, but it's not easy. He's got teammates to overtake. Oh, that's...
Oh,
well,
no.
Yeah,
Oh, 3 of them.
What can you say? Yeah. Teammates taking each other out there, and Blake Hood, he has continued, but he's going to have massive front wing damage on that, and... Yeah,
Hunt's
not good at all. It was just...
Oh, no.
It was... Oh, God. It must be continuing. I don't go back. I'm not going to show it.
Something happened to Hunt. I don't know whether someone clips him, but all of a sudden he was spinning out of control down the straight towards the hairpin. And just having a look at it for me again.
Fortunately, it was Hunt that lost it when he just went in too deep into the chicane, up and over the curbs. Pete Newman had nowhere to go, sends his teammate spinning around. So we're just looking at another little battle on circuit at the moment. That's Justin Hopp on Paul Smith. A little look, has to tuck back in, going into turn 1, can't quite get past in his Texaco D12 there. So we've got a mixture of IndyCar and F1 liveries out there, it's always good to see.
Well, this has definitely handed the race to losing, or as if he didn't need for it to be made easier for him. He's now got a 15-second lead as Hopp is all over the back of that Mana Marussia of Paul Smith, heading into the left-right chicane to head down the back straight. He's very close to the back of him, and that's the cleanest bit of racing we've seen so far in this race as we head down towards the chicane. Not pulling out though, that Paul Smith Marussia's got quite a bit of speed underneath it looks like as we head into the chicane. As Paul Smith was a little bit too deep, and I think that's going to allow Hopp to close in now. Will we see an inside move down towards the chicane? Paul Smith covering the inside as we head to the right-hander. No position changes there. Paul Smith positioning the car right where it needs to be. Hopp's going to get a good exit though out of the hairpin, Alex. Let's see if we can get a move down and done into the chicane.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to use any of his push-to-passes. Obviously the drivers have 10 push-to-passes available to them. Look at the speed difference there. Something's going on with Justin's car. I mean, he was like so slow, that was ridiculous. But just so much quicker through the corner section.
Over the line then onto lap number 9 in this. Let's see if Justin Hopp can close back in onto the Mana Marussia of Paul Smith. Someone might be in 6th, 7th. It is Laura Bonds, and an interesting battle for 8th and 9th between Steve Kagura and Vladimir Marchevsky. Marchevsky's just been dropping back throughout the entire race, and he spotted an opening. And who's that going wide? That's a McLaren, who's a lap down of Daniel Hunt. So he's just carrying on a lap down, I think. Now, yeah, just 1 lap down. And now the battle resumes between Marchevsky and Kagura, and Laura Bond just a few tenths of a second ahead in front of them, 0.7 of a second. It's interesting, Alex, because these guys teams have different kind of racing styles. Some of them are quicker out of one corner and quicker on the exits of corners and slower into the corners. That's always Laura goes off.
Very deep there. That's going to cost her big time. She's only lost the places, but she'll get a slow down penalty as well. Maybe even Sebastian behind will get a run. Let's have a look. No, just a little bit too far back. Yeah, it's clear to see that this is not everybody's sort of first car choice out there. You know, they don't normally drive this in iRacing, and you know, they're not fully up to speed in the car. So, but yeah, I would suggest after 70 laps of this circuit, though, those drivers are going to start to find a little bit more time, a little bit more rhythm, and we'll start to push each other a little bit more.
Paul Smith was only 0.5 of a second behind. Whoa, as Hopp spins on the exit of the second corner, and he's now facing the rest of the pack. Please don't hit anyone. He does a big donut to try and turn the car around, and he gets going. He is now dropped down to 9th position.
And the rest as they all come steaming through.
Yes, and he's got to be careful here. Who's that? Sebastian Beaudry trying to get past him as well. He's down to 10th place, but he's trying to get past Laura Bond, looking down the inside. No. However, he was in 4th, he was in 5th, Justin Hopper. Now he's down to 10th place, and look at this, going around the outside of Laura Bond. Yeah, great move.
Yeah, that's the extra downforce that he's got there, but Bond will have the straight line speed advantage, I'm sure, but she backs out of it as Hop chops off her nose there, and yeah, just decides it's probably better just to let him have that one at that point. Getting very feisty out there at the moment, everybody.
Yeah, Beaudry through into 10th place, Bond now down to 11th. She was in 9th a few moments ago. Pete Newman in 8th, still after that contact, a few laps to go with his teammate. Marchewski 7th. And Ellis Stevens starting to pull away a bit now from Paul Smith. 2 seconds between them. However, it's 20 seconds between Martin van Loosenhoort and Ashley Blake Hood. Blake Hood now back into 2nd place after the two McLarens taking each other out. And then it's 3.3 seconds back to Ellis Stevens in 3rd, Paul Smith in 4th, Maltby in 5th, 6th it is Steve Kagura, 7th Pete Newman, 8th Justin Hop already starting to close onto the back of Pete Newman. Lap times last time around, Hop did spin his lap time 1:39.465, Pete Newman 1:26.5. However, Hop seems to be the quicker car at the moment, Alex, and he seems to be pretty ragged in his pursuit of the McLaren Honda. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this lap or in a lap or two's time we see this Texaco Valvoline car right with the McLaren Honda.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's closing in. Pete Newman obviously got his damage to that car as well. Hasn't pitted after that. Got a teammate ahead of him once again, but obviously Dan Hunt now a lap down.
Towards the hairpin, the gap between them 0.6 of a second. Let's see if the Texaco car can close in into the hairpin. Hard on the brakes. Newman just a bit gingerly taking it a bit cautiously through the hairpin. Gap down to 0.5 of a second. However, Justin Hop, as we were saying, Alex, obviously has got more downforce on his car, so I'm expecting the McLaren Honda to shoot away down the straight, and indeed he does. It's just how much downforce has he got on that car, because the gap's gone up by nearly half a second into the chicane. Yeah,
crazy level of downforce there. Obviously wanted to be comfortable, and then that's someone with a slowdown. Is that Pete Newman with the slowdown? Is that his teammate? That's his teammate, isn't it? Whew. And we've got a spinner coming out of the pit lane there. Not sure who that was, but someone loses it. Puff of smoke there. Car just drifts sideways, but yeah. Can't see really how Justin's going to get a move done on Pete Newman, I have to say. Well, he's got to run here, he's going to have to dive it off the inside, I think, if he's going to get a move done. Because he needs to be able to pull away. Half a lap or so, just try and build up a lead. Here he comes again, we've seen him around the outside of Laura Bond. He's going to have to go on the inside this time. He will be able to outbrake Pete Newman. But he can't manage it this time. I think, it's going to be very tricky, because even if he gets him now into the hairpin, Pete's just going to drive straight back past him on the start-finish, or the back straight, sorry.
Yeah, here we go into the hairpin, not close enough to get a move done that time around there by Justin Hop. Let's have a look at the lap times. 1:24.5 last time for Pete Newman, 1:24.1 for Justin Hop, 4/10 of a second quicker. The Texaco Cup. That was despite the lack of speed he's got down the straight. He's pulling once again, pulls away a few tenths or so into the final chicane. But we see straight away out of the chicane and through the first part of the lap, Justin Hop makes that gap up and some within a few corners. The gap was 0.7 as they came across the line, and look how quick he closes in now. We head into the left-hander, and now into the right-hander, the long hairpin which leads out, and whoa, look at Hop once again nearly losing it, but in the same place he did a few laps ago. But you can see straight away, Alex, just how quick he closes up, and he's closing up even more now as we head through this sector.
Yeah, you can see a little bit now, John. Pete's car there, it's definitely slowing Pete down a little bit because he was lapping much quicker than this earlier on, but yeah, it's so much faster in the corners at the moment. It's still struggling though, that's the thing. This circuit's just notorious for needing speed. You come out of the chicanes into the straightaway section. still very, very difficult for Justin to get everything done.
This is the closest battle we've got on track at the moment, and this is the battle for 7th place between Pete Newman in the McLaren Honda and Justin Hopp in 8th in the Texaco Havoline car. He was all over the curbs there, through the hairpin was Hopp, and once again I think we're going to see that McLaren Honda pull away as we head down this straight, and Martin van Loozenhoek just starting his 40, well he's halfway around his 14th lap of the race. That's how quick he's managed to pull away from the rest of this field, and Pete Newman has been able to get 1.5 seconds now on Simon Maltby, so obviously, sorry, on Justin Hopp. So Hopp obviously didn't get the best exit out of the hairpin or through the chicane, so Hopp not close enough to really mount a challenge for the first sector this time around.
Hopp loses it as well. He's he's around again, so
and he's gone to the pits.
I think he's had enough. He's just struggling out there. He knows that he needs to get positions in the first couple of corners. It's just not happening for them there, and I think that's a rage retirement there.
Something, just spins the car around, and that's.
Seems like the connection is struggling a little bit at the moment. Adam's just flipping out all over the place on the chat. So if you can have a look at anything or whatnot, disconnect from the server, reconnect anything, just try and sort it out.
Yeah, we'll do.
Just while Adam does that, we're just looking at Pete Newman gets up alongside Simon Maltby there. Pretty straightforward overtake. Simon struggling with a bit of pace. Straight line speed, although he tries to fight back. Newman there side by side going into the chicane. I think Maltby's going to get that place back. He does indeed. So yeah, it looked like an easy overtake there for Newman, but fails to do so. And we've got somebody going into the pits a bit earlier. I'm not sure there, because all of a sudden his position changed. These are now, this is the battle's now 5th and 6th. Adam's back with us. Has that sorted out?
I don't know, Alex, because you seem to be standing exactly the same here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't, I'm afraid. Well, I don't know if it's me or you. That's the thing. So yeah.
Losing all coming up lap traffic now already.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying out there, really consistent lap times, over a second lap faster, so just domination is being handed down to everyone out there at the moment, so absolutely flying.
Ashley Blake Kurtz being 1.2 seconds lower than Loosenord last time around. Stevens 4.2 seconds behind him. Closest battle we got on track at the moment really is 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 seconds is the closest battle we got. Really, that's between Ashley Blake Kurtz and Ella Stevens, and it's 4 seconds back to Paul Smith, 9.1 to Simon Maltby, then 7.3 seconds back to Pete Newman, 6 seconds to Pete Fickett, and 3.7 between Fickett and Beaudry, and then Steve Richardson 9 seconds behind Beaudry, with Kagura 4 seconds behind him, and it's 6 seconds back to Marchevsky, and then Laura Bond's a lap or so down. So those are the intervals between all of the cars we've got on track at the moment. Lap times last time around, let's have a look, see who's closing in on who. Pete Newman was very slow last time around, 1:32.0. Pete Fickett was 7 seconds quicker than the McLaren. So Pete Fickett, if he continues to lap at that pace and Pete Newman continues to have these problems with his McLaren, could have another car to try and fend off.
Yeah, what I'm going to quickly do, Adam, is we're really struggling here at the moment. I'm just going to take us to a quick commercial break. I'm going to make sure nothing's going on here as well, as we know you've checked. And we're going to listen back to the streams to see what we get at the moment, because I'm really concerned that people can't really hear us right at this moment. So we're just going to a commercial break, and we'll be right back, hopefully just as the pit stop starts to happen.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Back to the iRacing Canadian Grand Prix. So, there's technical issues, however, everything seems to be fixed now, Alex. Pit stops, I think, officially yet to take place, however, cars that have made a visit down pit road.
I'm in now, actually. Steve Richardson's in now. But yeah, you're right, there's a couple. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to list the cars that have been in. Away goes Steve Richardson in his Lotus. Cars that have down pit road: Pete Fickett, Sebastian Beaudry, Steve Kagura, Vladimir Marchevsky, Steve Richardson, and Laura Bond's been in twice. as well, but we yet to see our leader, Martin van Loozenord, go into the pits. He's going to be 38.1 seconds ahead of Ashley Blake Hood in second, then it's 6.5 seconds back to Ellis Stevens.
Yeah, let's just oh, wrong thing. As I bring up on screen the starting grid, no one needs to know that again, do they? But yeah, so quite a gap now for Loozenord, 37.5 seconds, as you said. Ellis Stevens in there, so a lot of drivers out right now. Bond's still not moving. I would get the feeling she might be another retiree. That will put us down to 13 cars. We've got Michael A. Jones 3 laps down, Paul Smith 2 laps down, as is Dan Hunt and Steve Richardson. Richardson, of course, has had his pit stop, so should get back onto the lead lap, I would think, when Loozenord pits. When that will be, I'm expecting it will be in about 2 or 3 laps time.
Interesting to see that Paul Smith's dropped down to 12th place and has lost 2 laps as well, so
yeah, not sure what happened to Paul while we were away, but yeah, not going well for a lot of drivers out there. I did say at the start of this race there certainly would be the attrition would be very, very high, as we've got one of the Force Indias getting a little bit loose out there as well.
22 laps completed then, as Ashley Blake Hood goes through the first sector of the lap. Martin van Loozenord is heading down the back straight down towards the final chicane. Let's see if he goes into the pit lane to do his fuel stop. He's going around for another lap. And I remember going back to the Brazilian Grand Prix back in November. I think it was Ashley Owen. He had a gap of not this magnitude, but quite a big gap. He ended up finishing second, all because of making a mistake. So it isn't all over just yet for the likes of Blake Hood and Stevens.
No, we could have another safety car, you never know. I don't think it's likely to happen. It's only really at the start, but the officials really do it when there's a massive coming together. Could have probably arguably have pulled one out when the McLarens got together, but yeah, still, just be a competition caution now as our leader comes. No, it's actually Blake Hood, sorry, into the pits. So Blake Hood, first of the front runners to come in. Let's just stay with him and just see what his pit stop time is.
The scheduled stops seem to have lasted around between 9 and 11 seconds, it looks like. So we'll see what happens here when Blake Hood comes into his box, quite a long way down the pit lane, and there he goes. New front wing.
Yeah, he needed that after getting involved in the crash between it was Dan Hunt and Pete Newman. 10.4 seconds, so not bad considering we had to have the replacement front wing as well. So it's underway. He's in 4th place. Where is he? 5.2 seconds behind Pete Newman. Simon Maltbury also in. So yeah, definitely that window is well and truly firmly open right now. I would have thought with the caution, people would have gone a bit further. Martin van Loozenord into the pits as well. So yeah, at this point it looks like a pretty straightforward 2-stop race. Martin particularly slow into his box, but he doesn't need to rush, does he?
He could put as much fuel as he wanted in and change all parts of the car and still be in the lead. 10.2 seconds, he's away, and he will continue in the lead. Ellis Stevens, he's now making his pit stop as well. Be interesting to see if Pete Newman follows him in. Newman's just coming out of the hairpin now.
Newman, of course, got a lot of damage out there. He's stuck with it. But yeah, so he's got his end plates on his wing there, and his rear wheel protector guard there. It does produce a tiny little bit of aerodynamic effect, and dare say we would have had some diffuser damage there. Typically if that gets hit, then and damaged, you usually pick up a tiny little bit of rear diffuser damage. So still not pitted though. Peter, he's going all the way. I think, full fuel, brimmed it, and he's going to try and get as much out of it as he can. I think maybe we'll see him in 2 or 3 laps time.
Stevens a slightly quicker pit stop than Ashley Blake Hood, 9.8 seconds compared to Blake Hood's 10.4, and the gap between them as Stevens came back onto the racetrack, 5.8 seconds. So we'll see if Blake Hood can pull away now that he's got that damage repaired at the front of his Red Bull, or whether Ellis Stevens can continue to reel in the Infinity Red Bull car. Pete Newman continues around. He has not pitted yet at all in this race, and I'm sure either this lap or the next one we'll see him make that trip down pit road to get some fuel and new tyres on his DW12. 37.3 seconds between Pete Newman and Luzenord. Luzenord can pretty much go around on the pretty slowly and still have quite a big lead. Let's see if Pete Newman is coming in at the end of this lap, Alex.
Yeah, we're just watching now. Yes, he is. He's in. So gets it down and into to the limit as he needs to nicely. Then no real problems. As it looks like, is that Blake Hood with a slowdown? It is Blake Hood with a slowdown penalty coming out of the chicane. Who's he got around him? He's got Ellis Stevens 2.9 seconds back, so he's still okay. He hasn't really cost him a place or anything like that, but it has cost him quite a bit of time. Pete Newman still waiting to get his car completely serviced. Looks like it might be a reasonable stop. 11 seconds flat, that's not too bad. He's going to come out just ahead of Simon Maltby, I think.
Yeah, that's closer than we were expecting. Don't remember Maltby being that close to Pete Newman. 2.4 seconds between them as Pete Newman comes out of the pits, and the gap between Stevens and Blake Hood now 3.5 seconds after that slowdown for Ashley Blake Hood. It's not what he wanted if he wanted to try and get after Luzenord, and we'll see if that gives Ellis Stevens a bit of an incentive to close in on the Red Bull car. Lap times last time around: Ashley Blake Hood 1:23.7, Ellis Stevens 1:24.4. However, Stevens, in all fairness, had just made his pit stop, so it was probably on cold tyres, but we'll see over the next few laps what sort of lap times he can set if he wants to try and get that second place in this Canadian Grand Prix. Maltby just dropping back a bit now away from Pete Newman. 1.4 seconds though the gap between Steve Richardson and Pete Fickett. This is the battle for 9th and 10th, and it's the closest battle we've got on track at the moment. Pete Fickett in the Force India, Steve Richardson in the Lotus, and funnily enough, Pete Fickett's made 3 visits to pit road, so yeah, a bit of an unconventional way to do this race.
Yeah, certainly Pete's had his issues out there today so far. 26 laps down, he's still going. That's the important thing, I guess. Got to finish at least. It just goes to show with the amount of retirements that we've had already. We've had 6 drivers retire, so carries on at this rate, then he's got potentially a top 5 up for grabs.
So makes a bit of a mistake going into the hairpin. The gap 0.9 of a second between those two now. Closest battle we've got on track. We'll see what their lap times are in a moment as they come into the final chicane. 27 laps into this race, we are nearing the halfway mark. Let's take you through the order then as they head through the chicane. Steve Richardson being very cautious there. At the moment, at the top of the field, it is Martin van Luzenord into Scuderia Toro Rosso. He's leading by 47.5 seconds over Ashley Blake Hood in second place. Ellis Stevens for the Williams in third, with Pete Newman for McLaren in fourth. The two McLarens coming together early in the race. That's scuppered their chances of getting both of them getting a good finish. Fifth is Simon Maltby as Steve Richardson runs a bit wide. He's driving once again for the Lotus outfit. And in sixth it is Vladimir Marchevsky in the Sauber. 17th Sebastian Beaudry. 8th it is Steve Kagura. The gap between those two 13.5 seconds. Then in 9th it is Pete Fickett. 10th it is Steve Richardson, 1.5 seconds between them. 11th place it is Daniel Hunt. 12th Paul Smith. 13th Michael Jones. And in the cars after the race, 14th Laura Bond, Justin Hopp, Jake Cameron, Sean Rafferty, Jay Walters, Jacob Bojnesny, 20th Thomas Woodley, and 21st Tyler Hervius. Those guys out pretty early on.
Yeah, retirement's been pretty heavy at the start of this race. Even though drivers have fast repairs, it's a shame to see Justin Hopp retire. He was really putting the pressure on the guys, but just think perhaps frustration got the better of him there with not having the straight line speed to get the move done. Steve Richardson making that mistake has dropped miles back now all of a sudden, so he must have made another one that lap as well. Hasn't quite finished it, has he? Yes, he has. But yeah, all of a sudden he's 8 seconds behind Steve, and Sebastian's 13 seconds up the road from him as well. So the field really starting to spread out now after the pit stops. I think we were perhaps hoping that they would get a little bit closer together and start to spice it up a little bit, but Losing Lord now closing in on 50 seconds ahead for the lead of this race. Just absolutely flying in the Toro Rosso.
Well, I think it was a position change for Steve Richardson because Pete Fickett, who was in front, made a mistake going into the second chicane. Halfway around the lap, he just goes across the grass, and that automatically triggers a slowdown penalty, and then the Lotus of Steve Richardson, easy place for him. So that's what happened to Pete Fickett, and that means that Steve Richardson now into 9th place.
As we're just looking at Losing Lord about to put a lap on Paul Smith, I think that is. That's the second lap now, so 2 laps down for Paul Smith. So this race not going at all well for him. He definitely looked like he had a fair amount of pace out there at the start, and it's just all gone pear-shaped.
Losing Lord now coming up to lap 5th place, Simon Maltby in the Lotus. So soon it'll be 4 cars left on the lead lap. Pete Newman in 4th, 1 minute and 15 seconds behind Losing Lord. So Losing Lord's nearly on the entire field. It is pretty easy for him at the moment there as he gets a bit sideways going out of the hairpin. Lap times for him last time round, lapping consistently 2 seconds a lap quicker than the rest of the field. Ashley Blakewood 1:24.7 his lap time last time around. Ellis Stevens though, he was 4 tenths of a second quicker, so the gap between the Red Bull in second and the Williams in third down to 4.8 seconds. 2.5 seconds though between Steve Richardson and Pete Fickett after his mistake. Daniel Hunt, what's happened to him?
In the pits.
Yeah.
Is that a scheduled stop? Because obviously he came in, didn't he, when he had his problems, so he was always going to be off sequence. Looks like it's just a scheduled stop, nothing going off. He's just come out of the pits, no problem there. So yeah, still out there, and he's McLaren, but a long way back, 2 laps down.
10.1 seconds his time in the pits, and he resumes in 12th place, 2 laps down as you're saying there, Alex. Problem though, battle on track in fact between Steve Richardson and Pete Fickett. Steve Richardson was very slow through the chicane, and that means we've now got 2 cars pretty close to each other as we head down the front straight into this tricky complex at the start of the lap. Richardson misses the apex going through the first corner. This allows Fickett to have a look down the inside in the Force India versus Lotus as we head down towards turn 3. Not usually a place where you see overtaking, and that allows Pete Fickett to slot back in. Harris, good to see a battle on the racetrack, Alex. 2 cars battling here.
Yeah, Pete obviously made that mistake a couple laps back now, so he's trying to get this place off of Steve Richardson. He's struggling a little bit out there, just a little bit wide on the exit. Surely this is Pete's opportunity to get a run. Ducking out of the slipstream, it's going to be late on the brakes into the second chicane, thinks he's just a little bit too far back, settles in. Richardson just goes over the sort of second curb there as well. Doesn't seem to affect the car too much, but into the hairpin, side by side on the brakes. Oh, Richardson loses it. Back end comes around very late on the brakes, and that's Pete back up and into 9th place.
Yeah, just locking the rears there, and that forces Steve Richardson to lose that place. He's now back down to 10th position, and I'm sure Pete Fickett will quickly move away. His lap times were 3 seconds quicker than Steve Richardson as well. Last time around it was 3 seconds quicker, and Steve Richardson now down to 10th, Pete Fickett in 8th. The next car up the road for him, Steve Kagara.
It's all about the battle for second place. Ellis Stevens now 1.1 second behind Ashley Blakewood, so really starting to find his rhythm out there.
Yeah, lap times last time round, Ashley Blakewood 1:27, Ellis Stevens 1:25, so I don't know whether Ellis Stevens has just got the confidence at the moment during this period of the race, because he definitely seems to be closing in on the Red Bull. And Ashley Blakewood, his fastest lap of the race, 1:23.7, was quicker than Ellis Stevens. So maybe the confidence just seems to have gone away from Ashley Blakewood during the second stint of the race, Alex, because it looks like Ellis Stevens has definitely got the upper hand at the moment.
Yeah, very, very quick. Something's flustered Ashley out there, and whether he's carrying a bit of damage, because those lap times do not look good at all. Here comes Stevens straight past him. Not even... yeah, just look at the straight line speed difference between them. I have to think there's got to be some damage for Ashley Blake Hood there, and it's just he couldn't even defend.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that whether Blake Hood picked up any damage, because he just looked like he moves out of the way and allowed Ellis Stevens through. So Ashley Blake Hood now down to 3rd place. Pete Newman is going to be about to be lapped, I think, by our race leader Martin van Loozenhoorn. 1 minute and 1 second between Ellis Stevens and Loozenhoorn. The comeback is really on now for Stevens. See if he can get to Loozenhoorn. I think that's not really going to happen. I'm going to quickly look and see whether Ashley Blake Hood hit the wall over the last few laps to make him go any slower. But yeah, Ashley Blake Hood now down to 3rd place.
Yeah, Pete Newman's lapping quite a bit quicker than him as well, so 15 seconds behind, but at that sort of pace he'll catch him up easily before the end of the race. What is pretty obvious now as well is that Loozenhoorn will lap the entire field and probably lap them twice. Not quite there yet. Yeah, no, maybe not. That's not right. There are 62 seconds behind at the moment, but certainly going to lap them once, and most of the second lap as well.
1.2 seconds between Pete Fickett and Vladimir Marchevsky. So Pete Fickett's been able to gain another position since we last caught up with him. I don't know what happened to Marchevsky, but he's now down to 9th place. I'll quickly have a look now and see what happened to him. Just having a look. He made a pit stop, and that's what's happened. The second round of pit stop seems to be underway then, Alex.
Yeah, quite early, so we would think, or I was thinking it was going to be a 2-stop race, but drivers clearly pitting in just a little bit early.
Yeah, who else has made a second stop? Sebastian Beaudry has 10.7 seconds for him, and Steve Kagger 7.2 seconds for him as well. So some of those guys making a second visit to pit road, but I don't know whether they think that's quicker as a result, but it means now that Beaudry's up into 6th, Kagger up into 7th place, and Daniel Hunt and Paul Smith having a fantastic battle. The McLaren and the Marussia heading through the final corner, and whoa, Daniel Hunt using a lot of the grass there to try and get past Paul Smith, and they're going to go side by side into the first corner, and Smith's going to try and go around the outside and back down the inside into turn 2, so they're going to be side by side on the exit. I think Daniel Hunt's got the line, Alex, and Hunt will remain in 11th for Smith. Has a look down the inside, don't hit each other, guys. There's already been enough McLarens in strife tonight, and there he goes. There goes Daniel Hunt into the barrier.
Yeah, and with that, I think that's probably Daniel Hunt's race over and done with. I don't think he'll want to go out there anymore. He's going to tow back, but yeah, it's not gone according to plan at all.
Loozenhoorn just lapping Newman then, so only 3 cars left on the lead lap. Richardson in 10th, Blake Hood now, as you're saying, in 3rd place. 1.2 seconds though between him and Ellis Stevens, so it looks like he's might have got a bit of confidence back, Ashley Blake Hood. Lap times last time round, Ellis Stevens 1:25.3, Ashley Blake Hood 1:25.2, so might only be a tenth of a second quicker, but if he goes at that race, he's going to eventually catch Ellis Stevens, who's 1.3 seconds up the road. So as some cars go to the pits for the second time, we could be seeing that battle for second place intensifying as we are now at the halfway point of this Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah, Blake Hood just 1.4 seconds. He's not really he's picked his pace up certainly since what happened. So I don't know, it's just a couple of laps maybe, just caught him out. Oh, as I've said that, he's around in the chicane over the curb. Gonna need to get out of the way. He's gonna get a slowdown penalty to boot on that as well, and that could well have damaged his chassis even more.
Yeah, going over the Stephen Policeman is not going to do his DW12 any good, and that's now allowed Ellis Stevens to increase the gap to nearly 10 seconds over Ashley Blake Hood. And here comes Martin van Loozenholt. He's just having fun, really, as he slides the car on the exit of that hairpin, and he's now going to be looming large in the mirrors of Ashley Blake Hood, probably going to lap him in a few laps' time if he continues at the pace he is going. Hit lap time last time around for Martin van Loozenholt 1:23.3. And for a second I was going to go into the pits, but that's just the amount of speed that he takes going into the chicane. So much quicker than everyone else as he comes across to start lap 36. 3.1 seconds between Pete Fickett and Steve Kagura. However, I think that's not really representative considering Fickett's visited the pits 3 times. One person that hasn't visited the pits though, Alex, is Paul Smith. I don't know whether that's just a glitch on my timing system, but he hasn't visited the pits. I don't think he's visited the pits yet at all during this race.
Just having a little look on mine. Yeah, it's showing a pit time, but not any stops. So I think he has pitted. Something just going on with the timing screen there.
And he remains in 11th place, 31 seconds behind Steve Richardson. So we've got, at the moment, we've got...
Him closing that gap on Ashley Blake Hood. Sorry, that's down to 5 seconds now. So he's recovered. Of course, he's got himself a fresh car. He's fully repaired, and he's been banging in 124.6s for quite some time, there or thereabouts. So that pace in that McLaren definitely picked up a fair bit since the pit stop.
Blake Hood soon is going to get the blue flags because there's the Scuderia Toro Rosso of Loozenholt. Through the chicane they go, and Loozenholt's right with him. So much faster, the Scuderia Toro Rosso, as he comes across the line. And I think Ashley Blake Hood will get out of the way in either in this corner or out of turn 2 and let our dominant race leader through, and that will make it 2 cars on the lead lap. Ashley Blake Hood not making it easy for him. Loozenholt going to go down the inside. There he goes. Oh, dear me.
And still just about holds on to it. That's how to lose a Grand Prix, I tell you. Almost ended in disaster there. Manages to survive somehow there. Good job Blake Hood was alive to that, actually, otherwise he could have just ploughed into him, and that would have been probably a faster back and Ellis into the lead.
2.2 seconds between Pete Newman and Ashley Blake Hood, and 0.6 seconds between Pete Fickett and Steve Kagura. What's going on there? And there's a bit of smoke. Someone's blown up an engine, it looks like. Laura Bond's got a lot of smoke coming from her car in the pit lane. I don't know what the result of that is, but either way, the Force India and of Pete Fickett and Steve Kagura battling as they head across the front straight. I think that's Fickett into 7th place. I don't know whether we missed an overtake, but Kagura now in 8th position. So I'm just going to look back and see whether this is a result of Fickett getting past Kagura, and it is. Last time around, Kagura goes across the grass and picks up a slowdown, and that elevates Fickett up to 7th place. So started in 15th Fickett, he's slowly working his way through, as is Sebastian Beaudry. Both of those guys started in the mid to late teens, and now they're up nearly in the top 5.
Yeah, it's been a long race for them, but they're slowly working their way up there. Pete, of course, had all those pit stops in the Force India, which I have to say looks rather nice on the DW12. Car is damage free. Just having a look at his lap time, certainly a lot quicker than Sebastian ahead of him. I don't know if that was a bad lap from Sebastian, but yeah, definitely if he carries on at that sort of rate, he will get up there, and it's not any quicker than Simon Hobby though, so perhaps 6th place is the best he can do without any other retirements.
Vladimir Marchevsky's getting close to Steve Kagura as well. 1.6 seconds between Kagura and the Sauber. As Marchevsky comes across the line, he was 1 whole second quicker than Kagura last time around, so if he continues at that pace, he could be with Kagura within the next few laps. 1.2 seconds the gap now as they head through turn 2 and in towards the chicane at turns 3 and 4. Lap times between Ashley Blakehood and Ella Stevens. Stevens was about 4 seconds slower than Ashley Blakehood last time around as Marchewski spins. In 9th position, he gets going again. So the gap is down to 5 seconds, so it seems to be yo-yoing about. I presume Stevens picks up a slowdown, which made him 4 seconds slower last time around, but you can't rest on your laurels in this race, Alex, it seems, because the moment you make a mistake, someone's going to capitalise on it.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. That's really how this race is going to come down, is people making mistakes. We saw Martin Van Loozenlord there almost losing it as well. I mean, he's got just 30 laps to go of this race. The last thing he needs to do is make a mistake. That really would blow it massively wide open if he requires an additional pit stop for repairs. But right now, still doing a great job out there. Stevens in second place, also doing a fantastic run. Pete Newman, sorry. So used to saying that with the BSR TC. Of course, if you don't know about that series, go check it out. We broadcast that Thursday nights over at BSR TV. Pro Series in the British Touring Cars. Drivers actually racing for a prize pool of $10,000. So huge prize money. If you're thinking, what is this sim racing malarkey? Yeah, they can race for 10 grand. So yeah, worth doing, I would say.
If you fancy racing, joining us in 2 weeks' time at Twinrin Motegi, go to BritishSimRacers.com. You'll find out all the information there as Loosenall heads into the pits for his second time, his second pit stop in this race. Heading down the pit road into his box. There he goes. And the clock starts. Fresh bit of fuel, new tyres, taking his time. Everything seems to be going his way in 8.7 seconds. And he's away. So he continues on his way in the lead. Martin Van Loozenall's his second pit stop in this race.
I don't think he is going to make it to the end. He's going to need a little splash and dash. Maybe I was wrong with the fuel mileage. They can't quite get the same amount of laps out, although he was in much quicker this time than he was the last time. He went to about 24, didn't he, on the first stint. So maybe he's realised, well, we're just not going to make it on 2 stops. We're going to need that third little splash and go. So he's just split it up a little bit.
Yeah, indeed, and Ellis Stevens will be closing in as a result of that pit stop. However, he too has got to make his second visit to the pits. We'll see if anyone throws the dice in terms of strategy. I don't know whether these EW12s, can they pit now and get to the end on another tank of fuel, Alex?
Not from here, I don't think. I think they're still going to need a few more laps to do. I think they're going to need, to about lap 46, sorry. I think from 46 onwards they can pit and make it.
Martin Van Loozenall's lead, 43 seconds. Have you ever had a lead of sort of that region and ended up losing it at all, or have you been pretty consistent and always got to the end if you've had a gap that big?
Yeah, no. I think when I've had a gap that big, I've never managed to lose it. The only way you're going to lose it, and this is probably the one track you could do it at, is put it in the wall. But for myself, I've certainly been in the same position where I'm coming up to lap just about the entire field, and I don't think. I mean, he's putting in decent lap times there, but he's not pushing out there. He knows for a fact that yes, he's having fun. He's going to lap the whole field. He doesn't need to push to. That's his target, I'm pretty sure, to himself out there right now. But yeah, he'll be given an element of margin of error, I think, just to make sure he doesn't do anything, especially after that little scare that he had after getting by Ashley Blakehood as well. So definitely won't want to do anything to compromise it. He'll probably back it off another half a second on that just to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake at this point.
We've had another retiree in this race, and it is Steve Kagura. He's out of this race. I'm just trying to work out what happened.
There's a lot of drivers actually not running anymore. Dan Hunt, Michael Jones, Steve Kagura. We're basically down to 10 cars left on the circuit.
Yeah.
So, we said attrition was going to be bad. I'm quite sure I thought it was going to be that bad.
I think we might have just seen a rage retirement from Steve Kagura. He went into the pits a bit too quickly, and I think he picked up an automatic stop and go. I don't know whether he's going to call it a day, but it certainly looks like he has. And yeah, we were saying just before we came on air, Alex, we'll probably be down to under 10 cars, and we've got 10 cars now running and Steve Richardson in 10th is 3 laps down. As we're yet to see Ellis Stevens come in for his second visit to the pits. He could be trying to go on one more stop if he continues to go around. However, he's got Ashley Baker for company, 0.8 of a second now between these two, the Williams and the Red Bull. So the battle for second could be on, as we've got a safety car, and this changes everything, Alex.
Yeah, what is that all about? I'm not really sure what that's about.
Yeah, I'm just cycling through the cameras now. Who are we missing? We are missing no one. So I don't know why our race stewards have thrown that caution flag. That's completely thrown me. I don't know who has got involved in something. Or maybe it's just a competition caution to make the race a bit exciting. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it probably is. I'm not sure Losing Lord will be particularly happy about that. He knows he's got another stop to make as he actually dives in now. He's still going to struggle to make it though from here at 42. He's going to pit in. He'll get a free stop. He'll have brand new tyres. If he needs to pit again, it'll just be a splash and dash. I imagine everybody else will jump in as well. So we're just having a look. Stevens just working his way around. He's got Blake Cook behind him. Those guys are trying to close the gap to Losing Lord now while they can under safety conditions.
Losing Lord doesn't stop, so he's just driven through the pits.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether that's because there's a rule that the pits are closed when the safety car comes out for some. But yeah, Losing Lord.
Well, let's hope he didn't drive in a closed pit, which you can do, and that could cost him.
If that puts him a penalty, yeah.
I don't think it will matter. If I'm honest, he's got the pace out there that even if he has to drop to the back, he will still win this race.
In fact, Losing Lord seems to be pretty happy with himself in the race chat, just having a bit of a laugh with the race stewards. But there you go, the safety car picking up the guys. Who's out the front behind the safety car? It's Beaudry. I presume Beaudry will be waved through. If not, then
he'll be released when there's 1 lap to go, because he's obviously down
the wave around
at the moment, so that'll be automatic from the software.
Well, let's run you through the order then, as we're under safety car for the second time tonight. Martin van Loozenord had a 40-second lead over Ellis Stevens. Of course, Loozenord pitting twice. Stevens yet to make his second visit to the pits. If I was him, I'd pit now to get that bit of fuel and possibly do a bit of fuel saving to try and get him to the end. Ashley Blake Hood in third, with Pete Newman in fourth. For McLaren, Summer Mob in fifth, last car on the lead lap. Then it is Sebastian Beaudry in sixth, as you can see, behind the pace car. Seventh, Pete Fickett from 15th on the grid. Then Vladimir Marchevsky in eighth. 9th, Paul Smith. 10th, Steve Richardson. 11th, Steve Kagura. And these are the cars that are out of the race. Steve Kagura, Michael Jones, Daniel Hunt, Laura Bond, Justin Hopp, Jake Cameron, Sean Rafferty, and 18th, Jay Walters. So that is your full field. And only 10 cars running still. And we're going to have what looks to be a 25-lap shootout to the end of this race, Alex. As here come the guys down pit road. It's going to be a race off pit road, really, because Stevens and Blake Hood are right with Loozenord now.
Yeah, and Loozenord let a couple of guys go there. And I wonder if that's because he has got a penalty, like an end of line or something like that, for coming in on a closed pits. Hopefully we'll get some sort of confirmation of that or something like that in the chat or whatnot. But we'll find out, because he will have to give up a few more places. I think that's the case. Let's just see what goes on between those guys. I mean, he should need the shortest of stops. Loozenord. Oh, he's a bit slow away.
And Stevens nearly beat him off pit road there.
Yeah, but in fact he almost come out inside him there, didn't he? So, but so Pete Newman, obviously he gets himself fresh tyres as well on away. He's going to come out in 4th place. Simon's away as well behind him. I wonder if they're going to wave the traffic through, so all those drivers, so Sebastian, Pete, Paul, that are all a lap down, will get a wave around, and that'll put them back on the lead lap with about 26 laps left of this race.
Lights are on the pace car as well, so these guys are going to have to drive pretty quickly to catch up to the safety car because it's going to be in just under half a lap's time. Michael Jones leading this pack.
Lord is dropping down, so I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure he has got an EOL penalty.
These NASCAR rules, yeah, he's just commented these NASCAR rules. I presume that is what happens because the safety car came out and then he came into the pits. And I think that means that he's got to drop to the back of the line. And this is going to be interesting because the safety car's coming in and we've barely got the field to get the green flag because these guys that are a lap down are at the front of this pack. And losing order's got to, I presume, got to drop to the back of the line. However, all of these guys are so far apart that I don't think he's going to get to the back of the line in time for the green flag.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned by this actually. Not ready to go at all. Racing here.
In fact, a bit of contact there between Richardson and Newman as these guys are trying to catch up here. I don't know whether... Yeah, Newman's just going past Richardson. Well, here we go. Safety car coming in.
Stevens is going to lead him away.
Ellis Stevens is the race leader. Who would have thought that a few laps ago? But the green flag is back in the air. We're racing once again at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Ellis Stevens leading him across the line. It's going to be a battle between him and Ashley Blake Hood with Luzernord for now in third position. We're back underway.
Yeah, very odd. I'm really not sure. That was Blake Hood getting a little bit out of shape. The lap cars haven't been released or anything there, so yeah, I'm not sure quite what's gone on there. Very confusing for us now. We just need to give it a lap or two to settle down. The key thing is you've got first, second and third right next to each other, so 25 lap shootout, all good.
Had Pete Newman been lapped, Alex? Maybe he's dropped to the rear with the cars that are on the lead lap or something.
No, he's not. Pete Newman hadn't been lapped. He's in fourth place, 0.8 of a second back, so it's actually now the top four all together, and Simon Maltby as well. It's pretty close behind in the Lotus there too.
Well, here we go, into the hairpin. Pete Newman's all of a sudden closed up out of nowhere. And Ashley Blake Hood on the back of Ellis Stevens as we head down the back straight. Let's see if the Red Bull has actually got some straight line speed underneath it as we head down towards the chicane for the first time under green conditions. And here comes Blake Hood. Stevens defending the inside line. And now let's see if Blake Hood is going to try and go around the outside into the chicane. They're side by side. And where's Luzernord going? Luzernord, they're all off practically. And Stevens is in the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, and Luzernord, he's got himself a drive-through penalty or a black flag there, so I tell you what, that's just absolute rubbish. I have to say it, totally rubbish. They should have, I don't know, I just don't know there. I mean, they shouldn't have gone to green, they should have let the pack close back up again. They should have said that we weren't going to green another time, so Luzernord's probably still got the pace to win this, I would think, but it's going to be made so much harder now. Just actually Blake Hood's got a fresh car, hasn't he? So
yeah, not good as well.
It's just a mess. Sorry, I can't.
It's a fix.
Yeah, I can't hide that. It was just I know it's a competition caution, but you've got to make sure that your person who is a lap ahead of everybody doesn't get himself basically disqualified from the race. He's still in the pits now.
Yeah,
so
35-second penalty.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's just because the traffic couldn't catch him up. So, yeah, not happy.
Well, Ashley Blake Hood and Ellis Stevens I don't think will be happy. Those two came together into the final chicane side by side, and Stevens went into the Wall of Champions, so that made him lose the lead. Ashley Blake Hood now leads by 3.5 seconds over Pete Newman in second place, and McLaren back up into second with Simon Maltby in third for Lotus. Where is Luzernord? He's now in sixth place, 1 minute behind the rest of the field. Well, 1 minute was the gap he had over the rest of the field a few laps ago. However, that was built up over 35 or so laps, and I don't think he's got that time.
Got someone spinning here. I'm not sure who that is. Who is that? It's
Michael Jones. Could this cause a safety car? He doesn't seem to be moving at all. Yeah,
safety car.
Steve Richardson is the car in 10th, and Michael Jones is just trying to turn the car around. In fact, I think he's got so much damage that he can't turn the car around, and there he goes, headed back to the pits. So Michael Jones now back on pit road, and another car to add to the growing list of retirees, it looks like. Sebastian Beaudry has now been lapped once again by Pete Newman in second place. Lap times last time around, Blake Hood 2 seconds quicker than Pete Newman, 123.664 by Blake Hood, 125.112 by Pete Newman. Simon Maltby 2.5 seconds behind Newman, as we've got another car heading onto pit road. That is Steve Richardson for his 4th visit to the pits. I do believe he's in 10th place and is currently the last car currently running in this race, as we're now starting lap 48 here in quite a controversial Canadian Grand Prix, to say the least. Ellis Stevens now in 4th place after that contact, 5.5 seconds behind Simon Maltby in 3rd. Then it's 9 seconds back to Vladimir Marchevsky in 5th. Then 39.2 seconds to our, person that's led the most laps and practically deserves a trophy at the end of the night, Martin van Luzenoord in 6th place. It'll be interesting to see if he could get 5th by the end. 38.8 seconds, Alex, in 20 laps. Could it happen?
Yeah, it ain't happening. So as far as I'm going to call it, I'm basically going to put him at the top of the race results here, so the unofficial standings, because like I say, I'm not happy. I know from point of view why the competition caution was brought out there, but for the guy who led that many laps and that huge a gap to get that kind of a penalty is absolutely ridiculous. Should just made it go for another lap under the caution. Unfortunately, yes, he did pit in on a closed pit, which is what's caused it. But it's just it's just absolutely crazy when you. When you spend your Saturday, you jump into Saturday to do a race like that. You don't expect competition caution to come out and put you back. Right now, if it was me, I would have rage quit. I can tell you that for a fact.
Well, he's still definitely got the spirit. Last time around, 121.904. That is his fastest lap of the race, and I think fastest lap of the entire race by Martin van Loozen. Also, he's definitely a man on a mission. I think he closed down 6 seconds on Vladimir Marchevsky over 1 lap. That is something, and it shows how much of a class act Martin van Loozenhoord is. And as we were saying at the top of the broadcast, Alex, a pro driver certainly in the future. We are on lap 49 of 70, just over 20 laps to go now in this Canadian Grand Prix. Ashley Blake could lead by 4.9 seconds over Pete Newman, who's now in 2nd place. And there isn't many close battles we got on track at the moment. 4 seconds is the closest battle, and that's between Ellis Stevens and Simon Maltby. And Maltby just locking the rears a bit under braking there. So Steve Richardson is out of the race now after making his 4th visit to the pits. So we've now got 9 cars running in this race. That is half of the field that started this race. And Maltby is now into 3rd because something has happened to Ellis Stevens. I don't know whether we've caught that on the cameras or whether it's just me being incompetent once again for just me thinking that Ellis Stevens was in 3rd place, and I think it's the former, so the latter. So Ellis Stevens still in 4th.
Just put the call out for another competition caution. But I don't think the admins are going to listen to me.
Yeah.
But I want them to.
Yeah, to bring Luzenoord back to where he was, rightfully.
Yeah, even if he has to overtake the cars, that's still going to make it pretty exciting at the end. I mean, unfortunately, competition caution completely backfired because we had that little incident and everybody's miles apart again. So, kind of as we were. So, 6.2 seconds is the lead for Blake Hood. Then Maltby Stevens there as well. 3.5 seconds back with a fair bit of damage on his car as well. Vladimir there as well in 5th place, 30.5. So Luzenoord will catch him and get into 5th place. But competition caution. Get a competition caution. Get the lapped cars waved through. So we've got 9 cars on the lead lap, and let's shoot it out for the last 4 or 5 laps that we'll have left.
He's just in a different league, Martin van Loozenhoorn. I'm just watching him driving around at the moment. He's got so much commitment through these corners, so much more than all the rest of the field. Here he is heading down into the chicane, just driving it pretty normally. He's got the racing line sorted, and really we can see why he had a 1 minute lead over second place and then lapped everyone up to fourth place. So yeah, such a shame for Martin van Loozenhoorn. Who knows, there could be a podium within reach. However, I think he sadly won't get there unless there's a competition caution. For 2.8 seconds now, the gap between Ella Stevens and Simon Maltby. Stevens last time around was just under a second quicker than the Lotus. So Stevens, who was our race leader after that competition caution, lost it after one lap. He could be closing in and could be getting a podium place once again. And don't know whether those guys are going to need to make a third visit to the pits. Have a Loozenhoorn's made 4. Have these guys saved enough fuel, Alex, to make it to the end? They pitted it around about lap 45 under caution.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I would think they should be able to make it, even if they have to run like map 2 or 3 or something like that for the last 5 or 6 laps, but I think they should be okay. It might be the only saving grace for Martin, actually, is that when he had to come in service penalty, that he's good to the end. Who knows? Yeah, I'm thinking everybody's still going to need to pit. It's only about 30 seconds as who was that who went over the chicane there in front
Sebastian
of
Beaudry. So gap down to 2.2 seconds now. Simon Maltby last time around 1:25.9, Ella Stevens 1:24.8. So 1.1 seconds quicker for Williams last time around. He's slowly reeling him in as we've now got just 19 laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix, and it's really all come alive in these last few laps. And Martin van Loozenhoorn leaving every single lap until the safety car came out. Then I thought it was a bit like the Monaco Grand Prix, really, Alex. Just took a precautionary visit to the pits, I thought, and then gets done with a penalty for pitting whilst the caution was out, or pitting while the pits were closed under caution, and really a rule that we should have done away with before the race got underway. Now it means that he's down in 5th place, 10 seconds now behind. In fact, he's got past Marchevsky, so Loozenhoorn up into 5th place, 37 seconds behind Ella Stevens, who is now only 1.3 seconds away from Simon Maltby.
Yeah, Maltby going to be coming under pressure. I thought Stevens had a little bit of damage on his car, but actually looking at it, it looks like it's okay. So he just got shuffled off wide there and actually stopped before he impacted the wall too heavily. And Williams there. Definitely seems like he has the pace, should be able to get up to 3rd. He was pulling away from Blake Hood earlier on, but actually is lapping quicker than Blake Hood as well, quite considerably. Blake Hood only a 25.7 as we've got Maltby around. And who was that? Wire there, just one of the back markers, I think. So yeah, can't see Loozenhoorn making any more places up now. 37 seconds behind Maltby. So.
Just out of interest, Alex, do we have the ability in the commentary box to assign cautions, or is that more of the admin's role?
I think I don't know if we've been given the access to do that, to be honest.
Rebellion here in the commentary box, really, to help Martin van Loozenhoorn, yeah, but he's now in.
See, I've got a tool. If we've got the power, I will do it.
Definitely.
Where is it? Ah, there it is. It's connecting. Ah, damn it, your evaluation period has expired, so no, I can't do it from here.
Well, Loozenhoorn.
I'm trying. Yeah. Sorry, Martin. Can't do it. I hope you watch this back anyway.
4 seconds quicker, Loozenhoorn, than Simon Maltby last time around, and I'm sure he's going to be even quicker after Loozenhoorn had that spin at the beginning of the lap. Ella Stevens now into 3rd place. Loozenhoorn 26 seconds behind Maltby, with 15 laps to go in this race. 8.7 seconds, Ashley Blake Hood leads Pete Newman by, and Ella Stevens lapping quicker than Pete Newman last time around. Newman did a 1:26.266, Ella Stevens 1:25.8. So just about half a second difference between the McLaren and the Williams, and Stevens now only 4.3 seconds behind. He's starting to close in now. on the McLaren, losing all 25 seconds behind Maltby.
Well, he's only 38 seconds off the lead at this point, and he had a 40-second penalty, so that just goes to show you his pace. And of course, the penalty it includes a stop in the pit stop as well, so he's which is about 30 seconds. So it just goes to show how quick he is. So we're just watching Blake Hood just cruising really now. Doesn't need to do anything more. Definitely got the pace out there to hold off Pete Newman. Pete's struggling a little bit now, but yeah, Blake Hood putting in a 1:24.9 that time by, and yeah, looking comfortable out there.
Could Newman still be nursing any damage from that contact at the start of the race, or has
I wouldn't have thought so. I'd think that'd have been long repaired. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's Pete Newman just conserving fuel, thinking he needs to conserve fuel to make it all the way to the end. Maybe Blake Hood's absolutely just gunning it, and he's going to have a little splash of fuel while Pete's going to try and go the whole stint. Who knows? Pete's pretty good in the old strategy. Always seems to do the good calls. Last race meeting, obviously Pete Newman Media absolutely stuffed the field at Alton Park, didn't they? So got the strategy calls just about perfect there that day. So won both races. So just maybe jump on board with him actually, because I'm just hearing him from the side there, and he's not pushing it one bit. Short shifting, I tell him, massive short shifting. He's trying to make that all the way to the look at that lift and coast going into the hairpin there. He is trying to eat that fuel out to the end. So, and he's gonna easily beat Blake Hood if he can make it last, and Ashley has to pit because it is about a 30-second stop here. Yeah. And look, you can hear him just lifting down this back straight. Oh, so early. So yeah, Ellis is going to catch him. Well, he's caught him. He's going to get by, but yeah, Pete's got a different strategy in mind. So
short shifting completely there, coasting, and we were like 200 meters away from the corner there, heading into the first corner. It's going to be interesting to see how Ellis Stevens does this. Just be calm, Ellis. Just be calm, and he should be able to get past him. I don't know. That's a bit risky, Ellis. Phew. As I look down the inside there, thinks better of it. And I think he should be able to get him either coming out of the right-hander we're about to head into now onto the back straight, and while Stevens is going through it already, round the outside, no, and Newman all over the place. He should try. Yeah, I'll get him now.
Yeah, I'll get him now, or at least on the next sort of straightaway section. He defends it a little bit, so he doesn't need to defend it at all. He knows what he's going for, and he runs in a little bit deep there anyway. So that's the only thing when you're lifting coast, sometimes you can still get your braking just a little bit wrong, and just take a little bit too much speed in, but you can always recover it as Ellis is just lining him up for a move. Surely he got the hairpin all wrong, and he's nearly 6 or 7 seconds back, but Pete, as we know, short shifting like crazy in that car. Ellis just blows straight past him here on the outside.
Amazing how long it took him to get past.
Yep.
3 seconds a lap quicker Ellis Stevens was with Pete Newman saving this fuel. And Stevens now through into second place. 14 seconds between him and Ashley Blake Hood. And Stevens last time around laps quicker than Blake Hood. So it could be interesting to see if the Williams could close in on the Red Bull, especially if the Red Bull runs out of fuel. I don't know whether Ellis Stevens is going for a similar strategy that of Ashley Blake Hood. He's definitely not conserving at the same rate that Pete Newman is, but 14 seconds I don't think it's be enough, especially with the amount of laps we've got left, just over 13, for Ellis Stevens to close in on Ashley Blake Hood. So really he's got to hope that Blake Hood has to visit the pits or something before the Red Bull, because
Lewis took 2 seconds out of Ashley Blake Hood that last lap. So he's absolutely flying at the moment. Now, if he is good for fuel, which we kind of hope he is really, he's going to need to close in another, I'm thinking 17 seconds to make, probably not even that, probably about 12 seconds actually. Now at that pace, at 2 seconds a lap, that's only 6 laps, so that's doable, very doable.
Yeah, as Ellis Stevens works through the chicane now. Wojciechowski, Luzenor 24 seconds behind, and Maltby is only 4 seconds away from Newman. So the battle for third could soon be heating up as Maltby's now losing quite a lot of time. I don't know what's happened to him.
Yeah,
he's in the pits.
There we go. So let's see where Luzenor comes with Maltby then. I'm guessing he's going to go straight through because Maltby's not even stationary at this point, and Luzenor's coming through the chicane now, so he will get that position quite comfortably. Whether he, like I say, whether he has to pit or not again, I don't know. Pete Newman definitely trying to make it all the way to the end. Well, that was 6 seconds that Luzenor caught up Pete Newman that lap as well. So 26 seconds is the gap. That 12 laps to go. There is no way Pete Newman will stay ahead of Luzenor if he can make it on fuel.
6 seconds a lap, yeah.
I wonder if you can just double check, Adam. What lap did he serve his penalty? Because I'm sure he would have filled it full of fuel then. Was it lap 46 or was it 45? If it's 45, I think he's probably going to not make it. If it's 46, then he's already done a 24 lap stint earlier on in this race.
It's at the beginning of lap 46.
Yeah, so it's the beginning of 46 as well. So he can do it. He might have to save a bit of fuel towards the end. But yeah, it's not a great deal. So this could be very, very interesting and very close at the end actually.
Luzenor closing in Newman at the race, 6 seconds a lap, and the gap is 22 seconds. So
27.5 this time for Pete Newman. Let's see, just jump back to Luzenor, see what he does as he crosses the line.
1 minute 22.4. So once again another 6 seconds. So if the maths are right, it will be another 6 seconds. So about 5 or 6 laps or so before Luzenor could be right with Pete Newman. And he's already taken nearly a second out in this first sector. So that's how quick Luzenor is going at the moment.
Oh, Pete Newman's got some sort of issues out there. Someone spun in front of him. That could, well, cost him big time. Because Pete's all about maintaining the momentum out there. And he won't have needed that at all. 20 seconds behind our race leader. I think that's setting back even further. It's looking more like 25 seconds now. So
yeah, I was just looking back at the replay, and he's very lucky not to pick up damage, P. Newman.
Yeah, it's still within him. I mean, but the trouble is Blakehood's pulling away rather quickly now as well. So 35 seconds is what we're looking for a pit stop here. So Pete Newman needs to keep it underneath that. We've got 10 laps to go. He's still short shifting, coasting into the corners. Losing on 14.8 seconds back. That's 8 seconds he's caught on this lap. So yeah, I think even if Pete Newman does it, he might only be good for a second place if Luzenor can make it. So all of a sudden the race has come alive. We're not sure what's going on with
3 different strategies.
Ellis, I'm pretty sure, has got a pit as well, as he just runs a little bit deep in the second chicane there.
Gap down to 13 seconds, so practically 10 seconds taken out on that lap as a result of Pete Newman getting involved in that contact. 3 different strategies unfolding then. We've got Ashley Blakehood who's going her and really hoping that he builds enough of a gap to make a pit stop. We've got Pete Newman who's just coasting around, trying to pick up as much fuel as he can to just do it without having to make a visit to the pits. And we've got Martin van Luzenord, after serving a penalty, is going flat out to try and possibly get a podium, and who knows, could even snatch the race victory away. We've got just under 9 laps to go in this race. 17.8 seconds is the gap between Ashley Blakehood and Ellis Stevens, with Pete Newman just coming through the final chicane now, 29 seconds behind the race leader Ashley Blakehood. 11 seconds is now the gap between Newman and Luzenord. Let's see what the lap times are this time around. Newman, whoa, and Luzenord's round, and really the comeback could be off, Alex.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. That is not what he needed. I think he'll be pleasantly surprised with how this race was panning out actually. think he's just pushing just to try and get every little place he can get. But yeah, 1:27 that lap, so didn't lose any time to Pete Newman, but he did lose time to Ashley Blake Hood. It's 44 seconds is the gap. I said it needed to come down to about 35. It would have been about 40. It would have been about 40 seconds without that. So it was coming down nicely. But I think any chance he's got is gone. But what he could still do is he could still beat Ellis if Ellis needs to pit. We don't know about that. Ellis might have been saving some fuel earlier on and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure he pitted in when the caution comes straight out as well. So I'm expecting him and Blake Hood both in for a little splash and dash with 9 laps to go.
Gap between Newman and Blake Hood now 31.3 seconds, so he's getting close to that magic number now, Ashley Blake Hood, where he can make a visit to the pits and get out ahead of Pete Newman. But that's just presuming that Ellis Stevens has to make a visit to the pits. That the gap between those two is 20 seconds. Lusenord now on a clean lap after taking that spin as Paul Smith goes onto pit road. He's in 8th place, driving for the Mana Marussia. He started 6th, so he's lost 2 places in this race. Lusenord, there he goes, in 4th place. 126.6 was Pete Newman, Lusenord's 123, and that's of course after having a bit of a slow lap because of spinning the lap before. So he's taken 3 seconds out of Newman, even with 9 laps to go. Even if he continued to lap 3 seconds quicker, he would be right with
in about 4 laps time
him, yeah. So he could still get a podium here, as the gap is now 32 seconds between Blake Hood and Newman. So it's all about this gap. Will Blake Hood make a visit to the pits this time around? He's going to continue. Typical IndyCar style racing here, Alex, all about that fuel mileage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my only concern for Pete is that the lap times he's having to do now just means that he will not be competitive at all, even if he manages to get the jump on Ashley Blake Hood, and frankly he needs Hood in the next lap or two to actually get the jump on him.
And something's happened to Newman, because Lusenord's through into 3rd and Newman stops.
And yeah, he's crabbing all over the place. Let's just take a quick jump back and see what that was.
He's lost his front wing. It's on the exit of the hairpin. He's heading into the hairpin now, and he gets on the power and the car spins around. Maybe that's as a result of staying out for too long. The tyres have gone.
Yeah. Well, I think he had the right call with the strategy. I'm sure that was the way to go, but he lost too much time with that incident. And then, yeah, just unfortunate there that he lost it coming out of there. I'd like to have seen how that all played out. Lusenord, though, up into 3rd place. Pete Newman had to have a pit stop, so now he can go full steam at it. So absolute disaster for him because he lost all that time saving fuel, and he's had to pit anyway.
Right, come on, Lusenord. Let's see if we can get the gap under 35 seconds in case Ashley Blake Hood makes a visit to the pits in the final 8 laps. Last time around, Ashley Blake Hood 123.5, Lusenord 122.6. So 1 second there. Gap. That's not going to be enough, I don't think, especially if Blake Hood makes a visit to the pits. Ellis Stevens 24.8 seconds behind, and Blake has just come through now to start another lap. Stevens still in 2nd place. He's come across the line and now, and he's just missed the pits, excuse me, as well. So he's in 2nd place, doing lap times of 126.5 last time around, and this time as he comes across the line, 125.5. So Lusenord could catch him possibly by the end of the race. It's
Ellis is saving a bit of fuel as well because he was way into the 24s earlier on as well, closing in on Blake Hood at one point. So yeah, I'm wondering if Ellis is trying to make it all the way to the end. So it might just be a big all of them might be good on fuel for all we know, and maybe Pete Newman just took a little bit too little fuel, I don't know. So I'm at a loss to know what the heck's going on out there right now. But yeah, what we know is Ashley Blake Hood's leading fairly comfortably, 25 seconds. Certainly 15 laps ago he wouldn't have thought that would have been possible for sure. Ellis Stevens is 2nd, and Martin van Lusenord, who had near enough a minute lead, is in 3rd place. Pete Newman looks like he's calling it a day.
Well, it certainly had us intrigued for this race, well, for the last part of this race, Alex, especially with all this fuel strategy. Lucenord 13 seconds behind.
Sorry, Pete Newman's not calling it a day, but he's still got no front wing, so he's had all of his fast repairs. He's about to let the leader go through. He does indeed.
Blake Hood seems to be going flat out now. 28 seconds ahead of Ellis Stevens, lapping in the 1 minute 23s, and that's only just under a second slower than Martin van Luzenord. So that's pretty good lap times by Ashley Blake Hood. Stevens 126 with last time around, with Luzenord only 12 seconds behind now. Luzenord continued to lap 3 seconds quicker. He'd be with him with, I believe, 2 laps to go. So there could be a battle on for the runners-up spot if Luzenord continues to lap around about 3 seconds a lap quicker than the Williams. Blake Hood just going through the hairpin now, and when he gets to the line this time round, there'll be 5 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, let's just jump back quickly to Blake Hood, see if he pits in, or whether or not he's just gonna stay out there. I mean, personally, I know if it was me, here he comes, here he's in.
He's in.
40 seconds is the gap to Luzenord, so this is going to be pretty close. Stevens is going to jump him. If Stevens can make it, then Stevens has this race. I'm pretty sure of it. But
Luzenord could be with him on the penultimate lap, so that's what could happen.
Yeah, it could be very, very close. Let's just have a look, see how they come. Blake Hood still just trundling down the pit lane. He's about to pull in.
Stevens staying out.
Yeah, so Stevens, we should see him coming through the chicane now. So let's see how close this is going to be. Pit counter 4.9. That's up to at the moment. It's quite a long stop for Ashley here. That's Martin, isn't it? Coming through. Is that Martin? No,
Luzenord's in. Luzenord's in the pits.
Luzenord's in as well. So he couldn't make it either. So all that thought that he might be able to make it. Now we were wrong, completely wrong. And the man who actually had the best strategy out there, who I have to say, without his moments, would have taken the lead here, would have been Pete Newman. But yeah, Pete had his problems. So the question is now, when is Mr. Stevens going to pit? Is he going to pit? He slowed it down, he's backed it off, he saved the
9 seconds the gap.
The mixture. Probably on mix 5, saving as much fuel as he possibly can, trying to make it there. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to be in. I might be pleasantly surprised.
I don't think he's got enough of a gap to go around at the pace he's doing at the moment. 8.2 seconds the gap between Ellis Stevens and Ashley Blake Hood. When Stevens gets to the line, there will be 4 laps to go in this race. Simon Maltby is now into 3rd place, with Luzenord 1.4 seconds behind him. Whoa, Stevens has to avoid the McLaren of Pete Newman there. And is Stevens coming into the pits? Yes, he is.
Does. So we pretty much had an anticlimax to what we were hoping for.
Well, it certainly kept us on our toes, Alex. I'll give them that. Heading through the final chicane then, Ashley Blake Hood is going to resume his position at the front of this pack. He comes across the line, and now 4 laps to go, and the Red Bull car is now back at the front of this pack. The question is whether Simon Maltby and Luzenord will get 2nd and 3rd. And in fact, this is a battle for 2nd place between Luzenord and Maltby as they head down the straight towards the final chicane.
Stevens should still come out in front of them, shouldn't he? So yeah, he's exiting now. So, but it's still an opportunity for Luzenord to get 2nd. He does need to get past Simon here very, very quickly. He's late on the brakes. Oh no! He just turns in on him. They both survive somehow, but I have to say, yeah, Simon just turned in on him there. There was a car there, Simon.
Yeah, possibly a bit of tiredness after racing for so long. And look at the speed that Luzenord took into that corner. I thought he was heading into the barriers, but that's the speed of Martin van Luzenord around this circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The gap between him and Ellis Stevens, 4.5 seconds.
He could close that. He could close that in the closing stages. Ellis is miles behind. Blake Hood's got this race wrapped up now. All he needs to do is just not hit the wall in the closing stages. But yeah, there goes Ellis, and we can just see Martin in the background. So
see what the lap times are then. Ellis Stevens, of course, his lap time won't be fully representative because he's been in the pits. However, Luzenord has got the gap down to 3.5 seconds, and when Blake Hood gets to the line, which is just crossed now, there's going to be 3 laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix here on iRacing on Apex Racing TV. Through the final chicane, goes Ashley Blake
Pete
Hood.
Newman spun it again. He's having an absolute mare out there. He's just trying to limp the car home if he can. See if he can
And he's
pick up.
beached on a curb, I think.
Well, might see us down because he's got no fast repairs left. That might see us down. No, he's away. He got away. Yeah, that might. We're down to 9 racers now, so very, very light. Losing Lord's coming ridiculously quickly. Very slow lap from Ellis. We know it's an out lap, but still, 2.2 seconds is the gap. He will get a shot at an overtake, I think, before the race is out. To get P2. Fully deserves P1, I have to say. Blake Hood will get it as far as the stats concerned, but there's only one driver out there that deserves it for sure.
Here he comes then, the gap between him and Blake and Ellis Stevens, 1.4 seconds this time around as they head down towards the hairpin. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ashley Blake Hood is just negotiating the final chicane and will be about to start his penultimate lap. Gap between Stevens and Blake Hood, just 1.3 seconds now, and I'm sure if not this lap on the final lap, we're going to have a grandstand finish for the runners-up spot in this race.
I think Ashley Blake Hood must have had a pit lane speed in as well, because his pit stop time was 20.5 seconds, so he lost 10 seconds in the box. So yeah, so Pete Newman definitely would have had this with his strategy, so unfortunate for him that he messed it up. 2 laps to go, and just about holds onto it. Tricky little turn 1 curve that is. It's like serrated edge on that, and yeah, just if you take too much of it.
Who's that off? Not one important.
Yeah, Michael Jones. Sorry, Michael. But yeah, 2 laps to go. Ellis under a lot of pressure now. Can't see him holding on, if I'm honest. Although that said, Ellis does know how to drive this Dallara DW12, and just got to place the car where you need it to. It's tricky around here. Of course, mine's not going to be able to accelerate any quicker than the car ahead, otherwise he'll hit him coming, sort of going through the corners. But he's got a great run now. Ellis goes defensive a little bit into the hairpin. Mine just a little bit too far back, decides to take a very wide line in, gets a good exit there. Hopefully he'll have a push to pass left. Ellis will use one to defend, no doubt.
Stevens trying to disrupt the tow there by moving over to the other side of the racetrack, and Lusenor hasn't got the speed under him to get to the back of that Williams, as Ashley Blake Hood is now on the final lap of this race. And he's got a great run through the chicane, and this is what Lusenor needs. Stevens will have to go on a defensive as we head down towards the final, as we head down towards turn 1. Lusenor looking this way and that. Surely he's not going to look down the inside into the first corner. Stevens has got that covered. It's all about, whoa, as Lusenor nearly loses the car again, taking a very wide line to get the best possible exit. But I don't think there's going to be room for him to overtake going into this corner. No, there isn't. But he's got Stevens right where he wants him.
He's got the downforce. We saw this earlier on with Justin Hopp as well. He just couldn't get past with the straight line speed. He's all over him in this section of the racetrack. But all Ellis needs to do is just hit his marks, defend, just put his car where he needs to put it, and he will get this second place here today.
Yeah, and he's running out of opportunities, Martin van Lusenord. Meanwhile, Ashley Blake Hood is now heading down the back straight towards the final chicane. Let's see if Lusenord can get a move done into the hairpin before he gets there. I think he's too far back to do anything really, and Stevens has got the hairpin covered. Ashley Blake Hood though heads through the final chicane. He may not have led all the laps, but he leads the one that counts, the final lap, and the Canadian Grand Prix goes to Ashley Blake Hood for Infinity Red Bull Racing. Who's going to get second place, Alex?
Yeah, it looks like only one person. Here comes Ellis. It depends if he just messes up this chicane. Mike gets a great run out of it, but he's not quite going to be there. Tucks in, just got a little squirrely. Had he got perfect drive out of there, it might have been side by side across the line. Stevens holds on. Van Lusenlord into third place. Maltbury's going to come across in a moment. Here he comes for 4th place. Vladimir in 5th place, just exiting the chicane right now in the Sauber liveried DW12 there.
Yeah, Majewski ended up finishing 5th in the end. I think he was down in about 11th at one point during the race, so good comeback from him. Pete, and he was the last car on the lead lap. Pete Fickett in 6th. I think has come across the line, or I don't know where he is. 7th for Sebastian Beaudry, 8th Pete Newman. After it could have been him standing on the top step of the podium, with Michael Jones in 9th and Paul Smith in 10th. Steve Richardson 11th, 12th Steve Kagura, 13th Daniel Hunt, 14th Laura Bond, 15th Justin Hopp, 16th Jake Cameron, 17th Sean Rafferty, and in the last car running at the end of the 70 laps down, Jay Walters. And Martin van Loozenord on the chat saying lovely penalties, and really that's how you could sum it up for him, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, my driver of the day fully deserved the win here. No one was even in the same class. I'm not taking anything away from Ashley Blake Hood. He drove really well, actually. He had his dramas, and in that last stint just did exactly what he needed to do, pulled away a nice gap, and fully deserved the victory there. Martin unfortunately let himself down, really went into a closed pits, perhaps just not completely au fait with the rules. Obviously we don't do too much safety cars on the roadside, so it probably caught him out a little bit by surprise. Jumped into the pits but didn't see the fact that the pit lane was closed, and then of course the drivers just didn't catch up. He needed to. He basically just needed to park his car on the side of the road, let everyone get by, and then he wouldn't have had that 40-second penalty. Without that, even if he had been 30 seconds behind on the restart, I think he still would have won this race. 18 seconds he closed down to. Definitely my driver of the day. Stevens, take nothing away from him. Second place, great result. Defended absolutely everything, was perfect really in those few laps. He had the car underneath him to make it impossible for Martin to overtake. Just that straight line speed advantage, and we said that might come into play. Simon Maltbury, good result in fourth place as well. Drivers who perhaps I expected to be right up there. Pete Newman, obviously, right there until the end. Unfortunately, just a little mistake. And Dan Hunt, I expected would have been up there. So a bit disappointed to see Dan down in 13th. Definitely had the pace at the start of the race. So, the McLaren's just not delivering, just like real life.
Well, it's the Canadian Grand Prix in real life tomorrow. Alex, who do you think's going to win that? Do you think it could be Hamilton back on form?
Hamilton's so quick at Montreal. From what you were saying, it looks like it was a good qualifying for him. Even last season, he was quicker than Rosberg. I can't see the Ferraris being there. To be honest, the Mercedes power is just going to come out into its own. Although you're saying that they've stepped it up a little bit, so who knows? But I think Hamilton will have it over Rosberg, assuming there's no mechanical failures, a bit like they had last season. Hopefully they've learnt from that, and we'll see them both pushing it full pace all race long.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be conservative on their brakes after what happened to Lewis Hamilton's last season. If not, then it could be a Ferrari or a Williams taking their first win. Oh, Kimi Raikkonen taking his first win of the season, or Williams taking their first win of the season. So it could be interesting to watch for that.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Obviously, tune into the other series we do here on Apex Racing TV. We do the Sim Racers Asia Star Mazda Grand Prix 24/7 series. That's on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock GMT. We also do the Sim Racers Asia GT series, and that's at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon GMT as well. Over on BSR TV, it's the British touring car, the BSR TC Pro Series that goes on at the moment. Drivers are competing for a prize pool of $10,000. That's on Thursday night. Starts at around about 7 GMT, Adam. Anything else we cover between us? I know the Apex do a little bit of the Grand Prix Series. They're going to try and do that bit of pro bono work for them. Just to promote that series. That's going to be typically just before this race, actually, that we just did here. So about 4 GMT, I think that one is on the Saturday. So tune into that. So a fair bit of broadcasting going on. yeah, for everybody, just hit the subscribe button. You'll get all of the races appear in your inbox, I'm sure, so you could watch it back, comment, tell us what we're doing wrong, and all that goodness.
Yeah, and of course the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship offer, I believe this week and next week we'll be back in mid-June, I do believe, Twin Ring Motegi, so watch out for that on BSR TV. Yeah, getting underway from 7 GMT, 8 o'clock British summertime.
Thanks very much, Alan, for jumping in. It's been a long race. It was always going to be 70 laps, full race, full Grand Prix distance, 305 kilometres. But yeah, in the end, we only had 9 drivers still competing, and Michael was 7 laps down. So yeah, attrition crazy high. But yeah, thanks for jumping in with us. We're glad we got the connection issue sorted out halfway through that, as it was getting a bit Dalek-y, but all good. Thanks everybody for watching. Subscribe. We'll see you again. I'm sure British Sim Racers will be putting another one of these on later on in the year. We'll be here to cover it again. But for now, it's good night from me, good night from Adam, and we'll see you then.